Welcome back to the show. Thank you, Frank. Our next guest is a well-known lecturer and author and best-selling book, author of the best-selling book, Metropolitan Life. Here's Fran Leibowitz, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, Fran. Nice of you to be here. It is nice of you to be here. You are a lecturer. You do that for a living?
Yes, I do that instead of write.
Where would one go to hear you lecture?
One would go to college.
Mm-hmm.
But what you really want to do is not so much do colleges because they don't pay so well as you like to do conventions.
You actually go to a lecture at conventions, huh?
I've recently returned from the CPAs of Pennsylvania convention in Boca Raton.
There's a fun group, huh?
Right, where I, and I just did the wives.
Oh, I see.
As the man explained to me, well, for the men at night we're having the amazing Kreskin, but the wives like culture.
But you do some mind reading also, don't you? You make things disappear in your act to keep things lively. I would guess that
I bend forks.
I would guess that your lectures take place during the day?
This one did. This was a breakfast.
Yeah.
A breakfast reading.
And how long do you go with one of these?
Depends how much they pay.
By
the minute.
By the minute? What? You are a native New Yorker, I'm guessing?
Well, from New Jersey.
From New Jersey, close enough. This is the question that I have loathed for years and years when someone asks someone like yourself, which do you prefer, California or New York? But I'm going to ask it nonetheless.
You actually asked that question? Which do you prefer?
Yeah, it comes up often around my house.
Oh, I prefer New York.
Yeah. Now, why would
That's putting it mildly.
Now, why would that be, just generally?
Well, generally I can't say, but specifically I can say that as a writer, to be in a state where the main prose style is apparent only on license plates,
yes,
is disconcerting.
Yeah, it is. I don't know that that's in every state, but in Los Angeles, it's a big hobby. In fact, you can actually see cars forming sentences when you're on the freeway. You know, people with words.
It's the primary form of literature.
What about children? Do you have any desire? You like kids? You were one, I'm guessing.
I was myself a child for about 27 years.
Yeah.
I liked it. It was a good job, but I kept being a child. I have no children of my own. I have several godchildren. I'm rather fond of children. Adults, I'm not crazy about.
Yeah.
Children, I like.
Yeah, that's the problem with kids is they're great while they're children, but eventually they grow up and become annoying.
That is true.
This is not well, I guess it's specific or general again. Do you live here in a apartment? Do you own a home somewhere?
No, I don't own a home somewhere. I live in an apartment.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to own a home somewhere.
Yeah, it would
here.
be nice. You would like to own one here?
I would like to.
Yeah, well, that would take care of both points. What about the audience is pretty much self-entertaining, aren't they? We're coming back here with Fran Leibowitz, and this television program and most everything else in life will continue in a couple of minutes after you take a look at this. Hi, and welcome back. Fran Leibowitz is here this morning, and we were discussing, among other things we were about to include in that conversation, mail. Now, I get mail, and I just generally don't read it. The good and the bad upsets me equally. How do you react to mail?
I read all of it. I answer none of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's right. I don't answer hate mail, nor do I answer
Do you
fan
get
mail.
a genuine hate mail?
I get very genuine hate mail, yes. I get physically threatening mail.
You've actually had that happen, huh?
Yes, I seem to be very popular amongst convicted felons. Prisoners. It seems to me from my mail that people in prison mostly watch television.
Uh-huh.
You know, people out of prison mostly watch television, so I don't understand why you have prisons really, at all. But,
you could just sentence someone to stay home and watch TV
right,
all day.
Stay
Yeah.
and watch television. They do anyway.
Yeah.
And then we wouldn't have to pay for them to do
Yeah.
that. But I don't answer any of my mail. The worst avalanche of hate mail I ever received was I wrote a piece for Newsweek about teenagers. And apparently this was assigned to many high school classes across the nation to read. Their homework was to write me a letter.
What was your stand on teenagers in the piece?
Generally, I'm not really crazy about teenagers. I must say, I didn't even like teenagers when I was a teenager, including myself. I have a theory about teenagers, was that teenagers' main intent in life seems to be to annoy those around them. So I feel that one of the less populous states, like Wyoming, should be cleared of all adults, and all teenagers should move into the state. And it should be just a teen state.
Yeah.
In which case they could all, wear dark glasses at breakfast and annoy each other.
And this would begin, I guess, when they're 13 through 19, huh?
Through 19, and then they have to go to work.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty much what college is, isn't it? It's like a small Montana where they get together and annoy people.
But you have to pay for that, you see.
Yeah, that's true. What about, have you ever gone into therapy or self-help or any of that sort of thing?
No. I've gone to self-help, which to me is working.
But where people with similar disturbances get together for help?
Unfortunately, there are no people with similar disturbances. So I haven't been able to form a group.
Yeah.
Since I guess my main, I have two main activities in life: smoking and plotting revenge. You don't really need a group for that. I could plot by myself, revenge. Sometimes I use the phone, but I don't really, not much group type person.
Yeah, but smoking is then, I guess, you listed as your hobby. Yeah, that's great.
If not my profession.
That's good advice for any teenagers looking in today, too.
Right. I in fact, in my piece, suggested that teenagers smoke as a substitute for sex.
More wonderful advice. The book is Metropolitan Life. You have a new book coming?
In March.
In March, which will be called?
Social Studies.
Social Studies. Fran Leibowitz. We'll be back with Edwin Newman and an NBC News update right after this. Thank you. Paul Schaefer, ladies and gentlemen. Fran Leibowitz is a very talented writer. Her book, Metropolitan Life, of which I don't have a copy here, was called Outrageous, Witty, Biting, and Acerbic by critics across the United States. She is, excuse me, it's terribly rude to swallow during someone's introduction, isn't it? She has once again blessed America with her dry sense of humor in a new book entitled Social Studies, of which I do have a copy right here. Please welcome Fran Leibowitz. How are you? Nice of you to be here. You look nice. You feel good?
All right.
Good. Just all right?
Just all right.
Have you ever felt better?
No.
So just all right is pretty much it for you.
I consider it the zenith.
Well, that's good. I'm glad we caught you at the peak then. That's very nice. This is a great book, by the way, and as was the other. I know that you've heard this from people who are of some note in the literary field. And I was reading about you this afternoon, and you were described o'er and o'er again, words like curmudgeon, W.C. Fields like, irascible.
Cheery.
Oh, who?
Cheery.
Cheery. No, Cheery wasn't in there. I didn't see Cheery. Now, let's just cover a couple of these points. Do you really hate kids?
No, I've never said I hated kids.
Never
adults I hate.
You hate adults?
Yes. Kids I like.
You do like kids?
Yes. They don't review books.
You don't have kids, though?
No, I like them. I don't love them.
You like them around you?
From time to time.
Yeah.
Yes.
What about pets?
No.
You don't like pets?
Not at all.
Now, did you hear the hush fall over the audience there?
I'm not running for anything.
No. Maybe just your car. Hey, hold it here. We're just joking around now. Now, why don't you like pets?
There's nothing I want from an animal. I like animals. I don't mind if animals are outside. I don't mean just outside the house. I mean really outside, like outside the South American jungle. I think that's only fair. After all, I don't go there. Why should they come here?
Now, have you had nasty experiences with animals?
No.
Just you adopted this philosophy.
It's just an innate distaste.
What about animals in the streets of New York?
That's where I particularly dislike them.
Yeah.
I worked out a little plan. I've often said that dogs are the worst. Cats I don't mind because they stay inside. You don't see them. Dogs are outside where you see them and their hobbies. And so I suggested that dogs be outlawed in New York as they are in Moscow.
Dogs are outlawed in Moscow?
Yes. And so I think the salient feature of communism is that no dogs are allowed in Moscow.
Yeah.
So I suggested that they not allow dogs in New York. And then people said, well, that's all right for regular people, but what about blind people or very lonely people? So I came up with a plan of letting the lonely lead the blind.
Well,
then they wouldn't be lonely anymore. They'd have a blind person to keep them company.
that's right. Yeah.
And the blind person would get to talk to someone who talked back.
Are you getting a lot of support for that notion?
Very little.
Yeah, very little. Now, you like living in New York pretty well.
Pretty well.
Yeah.
If I have to be living.
Oh my! Good heavens! Now that was just a little joke, wasn't it? You're not really that desperate.
No.
No, you're all right.
I'm fine.
Yeah. But how about Los Angeles?
Even if I have to be living, I don't want to be living in Los Angeles.
Yeah. Now there. Specifically, what is your grievance against L.A.?
Well, I always like to preface this by saying it's the people. Yeah. It's. But I don't mean the regular people, of which I've met none. I mean the movie business people.
Oh, showbiz folks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
The kind of artistic crowd.
They rub you the wrong way?
They certainly do.
Yeah. In what capacity have you found yourself being rubbed the wrong way with these people? I mean, you go to meetings? No, I didn't mean that. But where do you meet these people? If you don't like them so much, where do you meet them?
I meet them at meetings. In Los Angeles, they take meetings. They don't have meetings.
That's right.
I figured out that was because take was the verb they were most comfortable with.
Yeah.
It's not a pleasant place for a writer because they consider writers employees. So I don't like to be considered an employee.
Now, would you ever, if a major studio came to you and said, "Good heavens, this Fran Leibowitz is selling books left and right. Let's get her to write Star Wars 4 or something," would you ever, if they just started peeling off the big bills and putting them in your car, would you ever say, "Sure, I'll go out there for 6 months and write a film"?
Well, if it was Star Wars 4, I would do it because you don't have to write that; you could draw it, which I think is easier. But they've never asked me to. They've asked me to write several movies. I never saw any cash on the table, but it doesn't really appeal to me. It's too collaborative.
Have they? Oh, you mean that you don't really have all of the control, is what you want, huh?
You don't really have any control.
Have they asked you to write projects and you passed, and then later you have seen them come to fruition?
As a matter of fact, yes.
Yeah. Give us an example of them.
I don't want to get sued. I don't know if you're moment by moment. I was asked to write.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was received.
I received it very well. I was delighted by the reception it received.
It was it was a Lily Tomlin movie with John Travolta and
a blazing combo.
Yeah. Yeah, let's move on to something else here, shall we? So now back in New York, you're in an apartment and you like that or you don't like that?
My apartment or
just
back
your
in
apartment? You haven't? Is that okay with your apartment now?
I'm fond of it, but I'm looking for another apartment.
Why is that?
I'm having a little trouble with this apartment.
Legal trouble?
A little legal trouble.
Yeah.
That's all we're going to say about it.
No. Everybody has a little legal trouble. Now, the nature of your trouble would be
legal.
Legal, yeah. But is it anything you can iron out?
Not here. You're having trouble finding an apartment too.
I am in an apartment and consider it to be trouble. Yes. Yeah.
There's a real shortage of luxury housing in New York.
Well, I'm not even looking for luxury housing. Just anything. Are you looking for luxury housing?
Certainly.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what do you find when somebody...
a lack of luxury housing.
A lack of luxury housing, yes.
At a price I can afford. That's the shortage.
Yeah. Now, what do these folks say to you when you call them up, and do you announce who you are? You say...
I try not to, because usually writers aren't the first people they want moving into their buildings. they prefer Supreme Court justices.
Uh-huh.
So I've been around to see quite a few apartments, about 7,000. Which gave me a great idea for a Christmas coffee table gift book, which is, you know, at Christmas time they have all these photography books. They had one just came out about manhole covers, and everything in New York is an art form. So for next Christmas we'll have ready a coffee table book called Dwellings, and it is a photograph of every single apartment in New York.
You know, the book, I don't mean to upset anybody by this, but there are a couple of publications, now you mentioned coffee table books, where it's a major city, and the name of the city, say, pick a city, any city.
St. Louis.
St. Louis, nude. And then it's just people nude from St. Louis.
Juxtaposition of words.
Well, yeah, but I'll give them the title, but it's not a pretty
If
sight.
I knew what the second half was, I wouldn't have said St. Louis first.
Yeah, it's just naked folks from St. Louis. It's just not something you want on your coffee table.
Certainly not.
No, or in the kitchen.
Or in St. Louis.
Or no, of course not. Let's see. Now, I know this is your second book. You're working on a third, of course.
Not very hard.
Not very hard. You enjoy writing, though, I guess.
No, I loathe it.
What do you do to overcome this loathing?
Pay rent. Since I have to pay rent, that overcomes the loathing.
Yeah.
It's my greatest artistic inspiration.
Have you? Would you rather do something else?
Yes.
What exactly would that be? Do you know?
I would like to be the Pope.
Really? I think we can get behind it. Is there any chance, do you think?
Well, it's an unusual ambition for a Jewish girl, I admit, but I don't think there's much chance unless you know someone.
No, I don't know anyone, but you have my vote when the day comes, believe me. This, of course, is Fran Leibowitz, and we'll be right back. Thank you, Mr. Schaefer. We're done. We're going to unplug this sucker. I want to thank our studio audience. You folks were wonderful as always. My thanks to Mr. Bob Elliott, Ray Goulding, and of course Fran Leibowitz. Our announcer Bill Windle. Tomorrow we will have G. Gordon Liddy and Swoosie Kurtz. They're doing a new sitcom. Also Subway Etiquette. Have a good night. Thank you, folks. Bye-bye.
This has been a Melman production.
Thank you very much, Paul Schaefer, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the program. My next guest is one of the funniest writers in America. She has had 2 collections of her work published. I have both of them right here. I'm having some difficulty picking them up. I'll do it one at a time. And this is the way you kids should do it at home, too. There's one. There's the other. This is her most recent one, Social Studies. We're delighted that she is back here for the free ride uptown. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Fran Leibowitz. Hi. How are you? Thank you very much for returning to the show, and thanks for being here. And I can't tell you how much I enjoy your work and also your presence, so we're really happy you're here.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Now, I have gotten the opinion from reading these books and things about you that you don't get out of the house a lot.
I try not to go out during the day.
Yeah. Why is that, just generally?
There are a number of reasons. It's crowded.
Yeah.
It's too much light. It's kind of...
Too much light?
Light.
Yeah.
Caused by the sun.
Yeah.
Yes. It's the kind of harsh, direct lighting that is unflattering to the heavy smoker. So I try to avoid it.
To the heavy smoker?
Yes.
Are you a heavy smoker?
I'm a heavy smoker.
Would you go to the beach? Probably not, based on what you just told us, would you?
I like the beach very much at night.
At night.
Yes.
Anyway, what I'm getting to here is you were in Japan. That's on the other side of the world, isn't it?
Yes, but not on the beach.
No, not on the beach. So what took you, I mean, why did you go to Japan? I probably know what took you, of course.
The Japanese government invited me to go to Japan. I think maybe at the behest of the American government, but a think tank invited me to go there. And it was at the occasion of the publication of Metropolitan Life in Japanese.
Mm-hmm. And when you say think tank, it sounded like you were obliged to solve problems when you got there.
Well, maybe that was their original idea, but I was more of a causer, I think, of problems than a solver.
Yeah.
I had a great time in Japan. I was, first of all, the tallest woman in the entire country, which was very heartening to me. They pay you for every interview you do. Richard Allen was right. They do pay you.
You mean, describe how that works.
Well, when you do a newspaper interview in this country, you do not get paid. Sometimes you have to pay them. There they pay you in cash, American cash.
As soon as you're done with the interview,
The
they say...
second you're, sometimes before you start.
No kidding. Now,
Depending upon when you ask or how threatening you look.
Now, for, say, would it be by the minute or by the column or what?
It's by two things, by how important they think you are and how important the magazine is.
And so, in an afternoon, you could earn how much dough?
$2, $3, just like here. There's no after scale there. It depends.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting, an interesting concept that they would actually pay for that.
They're used to paying for things there. Steak costs $400, so
Yeah, very expensive.
it's a pretty pricey place.
Now, how are you? You must be very popular in Japan. Your works.
I seem to be pretty popular in Japan.
Yes.
It cheered me up. When I got off the plane, there was a whole group of newsmen, so I looked behind me to see who was on the plane that I missed, and it was me.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I may move there.
Now, how do Japanese women react to what you write, and how do the Japanese men react to how do Japanese women?
Well, the thing is that being a woman in Japan is not really the best sex to be there. You know, it's like being a woman in Saudi Arabia. So that I think the reason that the book caused so much comment there was because, first of all, they changed the title of Metropolitan Life to "I Don't Like What I Don't Like." A title I wish had occurred to me at the time I was writing the book.
I don't like what I don't like.
And the reason it caused so much attention by the press was that women are not supposed to rock the boat there. So my translator, the girl who translated my book, said, women in Japan never say no, which might interest you, Dave. So I said, well, what if you mean no? She said, first you say yes, then you say no, just like TV. So they were very, they were kind of afraid of me, and they weren't used to having someone say they didn't like something. And since that's how I make my living, they were a little astonished.
I don't like what I don't like. I think Norman Vincent Peale had a book out by that same title, didn't he?
Very similar.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, I know you had interesting experiences with the food in Japan.
Well, not the real food. The thing is that in Japan, in front of all the restaurants, they have plastic replicas of what is to be found inside. Thank goodness we don't have this here. Their food is prettier. So I had seen, actually, at Candy Bergen's house, some of these plastic noodles.
Candy Bergen's house?
Yes. She has some of these plastic noodles. And I wanted some for myself.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's just back up 1 second. Candy Bergen has plastic noodles?
Yes. I don't feel I'm divulging anything too personal.
But I mean, for what? What does she do with them?
They're sitting on a table in her living room.
Oh. Is this like kind of a party gag? Or?
It's kind of a joke, yes. Hoping someone will try to eat them.
Okay, so Candy
This inspired
Candy
great
Bergen.
envy in me.
Yeah.
I wanted to own my own plastic noodles. So I asked one of the people who was taking me around where you could buy these things. And they took me to the restaurant district of Tokyo, restaurant supply district of Tokyo, where I proceeded to buy a great amount of plastic sushi, plastic noodles, plastic fish, plastic drinks. I then had to go through customs.
This stuff, a huge quantity.
I bought quite a bit, yes. I gave it as gifts. It makes wonderful stocking stuffers. A good Father's Day present, depends how you feel about Dad.
Yeah. I mean, I tell you what, I sense we're getting to something here. So you are about to go through customs with all of the plastic food, and we're going to pause, and we'll find out what happens when you take plastic food through customs with Fran Leibowitz. We'll be back.
Hello, I'm Yoga. Actually, don't let the mask fool you. I'm not really that lovable imp Yoga. I'm Larry Bud Melman, president of Melman Bus Lines, and that's not Yoda either. That's Troy Chipper Melman. We're dressed like this to remind you that Thursday is Star Wars Day at Melman Bus Lines. Every Thursday, our driver will wear one of these masks, and when he starts the motor, he'll say, "Let's go to warp speed." So for the young, the young at heart, and children ride Melman buses on Thursday. And may the bus be with you.
Hi there. Welcome back to the show. World champion surfer Jerry Lopez will be here later. Fran Leibowitz is here, and you were telling about bringing artificial plastic food back into the United States. Noodles, sushi,
Right.
whatever.
It was real plastic food, not artificial.
Oh, that's right.
plastic
I'm sorry. Excuse me.
That's, so, that's I'm always very fastidious about filling out the customs declaration, so I listed on it plastic food. This came to the attention of the customs official. Plastic food. Said, what do you mean plastic food? You can't bring any food in here from there. So I said, I know it's not real food. It's all right. It's plastic food. Well, what do you mean plastic food? I said, you can't bring food in here. You have to take it out of your suitcase right here and leave it here. So I said, it's plastic food. It's just plastic. It could be a train. It could be a shirt, but it's food. It's in the shape of food. Let me see it. So he takes it out. One of the things, actually, I brought these things with me.
Oh, good. Let's have at them. Plastic food, ladies and gentlemen. This is exciting.
This is what he pulled out of my suitcase.
Oh, okay. Let's hold that up. There you go. Oh my! Just like the one Candy Bergen has, kids.
No, it's better.
Oh, it is better.
Yes.
That's lovely, though.
Pull this out, and he held it up, and he said, "They eat this stuff there?" He held it up to the other guy and said, "Joe, look what they eat in Japan." That's why they lost the war.
That's very nice. What else? Do you have other?
Well, first of all, this goes.
It's actually beautiful stuff. Oh, sure, it goes in the bowl there, yeah. And then your crazy Uncle Frank comes over, and then the fun begins. Oh, this is a nice one. That's a beauty. Boy,
This
that
is
is
a
a...
major art form.
No, yeah, that's very nice. Anything else? Is this? Oh, yeah. Get the fish out here, the raw. And of course your beverage. Yeah. Is this expensive? This stuff?
It's more than real food, but it lasts longer.
Yeah. There's the raw fish. That's great. Now this is actually very nice stuff, isn't it?
Yes, I think it's the finest example of contemporary art.
Yeah, that's great. Now, if you were to travel a lot, you know...
I don't always bring all of it with me.
No, I know.
Like if I'm just going away for the weekend, I just take this.
This is very nice. Now, when you travel in this country, do you travel much in this country? We know you don't travel
Yes,
much.
quite a bit more than I would like to, yes.
Oh, you do? What's your favorite American city?
Aside from New York,
Yeah.
which is not really an American city. Chicago,
Chicago.
yes.
And you ever go any farther west?
California.
California?
That's about as far west as I go.
You ever go to Las Vegas?
As often as possible.
You enjoy Las Vegas?
Yes.
Now, see, I would have thought maybe you didn't enjoy Las Vegas.
I love Las Vegas. I can think it's the cultural seat of the world, the Athens of America.
Just the people, the architecture?
The architecture. Yes, the architecture. It's my favorite American architecture.
Yeah. And do you gamble?
Yes.
What do you play when you go there?
Roulette, mostly.
Yeah. Now, there's not a lot of skill involved with
None.
roulette. None, yeah.
I have no skills, so roulette is the game.
Now, do you gamble huge quantities of dough?
I don't have huge quantities of dough. If I had them, I would gamble them.
Really?
Yes.
Can I ask you what's the most you've won?
You could, I don't know, $40, $50.
40, 50 bucks. And how much, how
I know,
long?
once I won more. I once won about $600.
600. Yeah, that's pretty good. Now, how long do you invest? How long are you seated at the wheel?
Until there's no money left.
Wow.
And until no one will lend me anymore.
Geez, this is getting sad, isn't it?
It's,
Just
well,
you
I
and
don't
your
live that
plastic
close.
fish.
Then-
Yeah, well, that's good.
I use plastic money, so it doesn't matter.
Now, what's the most that you've lost?
$1,000, I think.
$1,000 bucks. Wow. Do you ever go to Atlantic City?
Frequently.
Yeah. Do you like that place?
Not as much as Las Vegas.
Yeah.
But it's closer,
Yeah.
so I go more often. I liked Atlantic City right before it turned into a gambling area, when it was a completely crumbling, depressing resort. I went very often the year before they tore it up.
Fixed it up.
It was empty there, just me and Louis Malle.
Louis Malle, Candy Bergen.
He was making a movie, and I liked it then a lot because
Yeah.
it fit in with my mood.
We have, okay, I want to ask you about television shows. I know there is another show, aside from this one, that you're really, really eager to participate in on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Family Feud.
Family Feud. Now, would you go on with your family, or would you? You have to.
I would go on with my family, only my family refuses to go on with me. They're too dignified.
Now, what intrigues
not.
what intrigues you about the show?
To me, my favorite thing about Family Feud, aside from the fact that I've never gotten an answer wrong,
Wow.
I have my fingers on the pulse of America. My second favorite thing is that in the daytime version, which I watch most frequently, the grand prize is $5,000. There are 5 people on each team. You have to pay your own way to California. You have to pay taxes on unearned income on the money you win on the show. So if you win, I figure it costs you about $7,500. Which is what I like best about Family Feud.
Now,
It's kind of a big roulette game.
I'm sure they would love to have you on the show. Have you brought this up? Called the producers?
No, I haven't called them up. Maybe they'll be watching.
Well, tonight when they see this fine assortment of plastic food
I'll
from
come
the
on with
Orient.
the plastic family.
Thank you for being here again. And anytime you need a ride uptown, please consider us.
I'll give you a call.
Fran Leibowitz, ladies and gentlemen.
We'll be right back with Jerry Lopez. Thank you very much. Welcome back to the program. Here is a program reminder. You might want to jot this down somewhere. Now, tomorrow night, one of our guests will be Robert Klein, and we will have, I believe for the first time anywhere on this, well, at least on this network, and perhaps even in North America, what is it, a bar mitzvah we're having? That's right, our gala bar mitzvah special tomorrow night. So wake the neighbors and phone the dog, and you won't want to miss that. Young man is actually being bar mitzvahed here on the show, and a fine time will be had by all. We have a wonderful show for you. I mentioned television producers Tom Patchett and Jay Tarses are here, and my next guest, or actually my first guest, isn't it, is a very funny writer and talker. She has been on our show before, and we're delighted. Well, this is quite an introduction, isn't it? This is about the most utilitarian introduction I've ever read anywhere. It could be anyone coming out now. A very funny writer and talker. She's been on our show before, and she's back again tonight. Welcome, please. Well, I don't even have to say who it is after an introduction like that, do I? Fran Leibowitz, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry about the introduction. Does that bother you?
It's a little austere.
Yeah, a little. It could have been maybe some details added there.
That's kind of like Hemingway.
Yeah, best-selling author. We could have added that in there.
You could.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming out anyway. Now, last time you were on this program, you had just returned from Japan.
Yes.
And I understand, I know for a fact, you've now just returned from another country.
Yes.
Okay. And that country is?
Italy.
That's right. Did you have a nice time in Italy?
I had a very pleasant time. Yes.
Yeah. How, it seems to me, I've been there once, it seems to me like things are a little easier going in Italy than they are in the United States.
Yes, it's the only country that I think I fit into, because one of the guys who works there asked me if it was a business or a pleasure trip, and I told him that no one goes to Italy on business, including the Italians. Yeah. No one works. It's a swell country.
Now, what was the purpose of the trip then?
Pleasure.
It was pleasure. Yes. Oh yeah, you just said that, didn't you?
It worked out well.
Yeah,
no check, but.
No. Now, when you travel like this, are you recognized by the locals?
By the Italians? No, I wasn't often recognized by Italians, but many Americans traveling in Italy are watchers of the David Letterman show.
That's right. See, again, the Italians would not probably... where was I? Maybe I just started reading the introduction again. I'd be better off. And so, did you get to see any Italian television yourself?
Well, Italian is one of the many languages that I do not speak. So I am monolingual. But I did occasionally, just for kind of the visual pleasure of it, watch the Jeffersons dubbed in Italian.
That must be something.
It was a real pleasure.
Yeah.
See, ciao, George.
Is it a big, the Jeffersons a big hit
It's
in
a
that?
very popular show, yes.
Yeah. And what time of night would we find this on?
It's on in the daytime.
Uh-huh.
It's daytime TV.
I'm sorry. Something not functioning properly under my hair tonight. And now, you want to light that? Go ahead.
Yes, thank you.
Sure. When the last, I'll wait till you light that. It'd be stupid to ask you a question while you're trying to light a cigarette.
I can do both things.
Last time you were here, you favored us. You brought some artificial sushi from Japan. Do you find anything like that in Italy to return with?
No, there was nothing artificial in Italy. Italy is such a great country that I can't understand why there are people who living in America with Italian names. I don't know why they came here from there. I don't know. But I bought you this. This is still from Japan. A more entertaining country, if not, the food is not as good. But this is a little mask. In Japan, which is a very considerate country, when you have a cold, you wear this in the street so you don't spread your germs.
That is considerate.
And as a major hypochondriac, I appreciated this very much.
Now you, what do you suppose is the origin of your hypochondria?
Fear of disease.
Do you mind, have you ever actually been really ill?
Yes.
To the point where you think you're going to leave, you know, just go? I mean, by that I mean die?
Every time I sneeze, I feel
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you go to the doctor a lot?
Frequently.
And do you find you have to change doctors because they get tired of seeing you come in?
I have several doctors to
Yeah.
take care of all the anxieties.
Yeah. Now, this would be worn this is a two-part deal here. You have a hanky.
I didn't mean for you to open it. This was going to be someone's Christmas present. Merry Christmas, David.
Oh, I see. And this would
Sure.
just, of course,
It's a surgical mask. You just put it over your face.
put it right over your face. Well, that's very thoughtful of you, Fran. Thank you. And we'll repackage that, and you can give it to whomever was intended for that. So you're back in the United States and settled in. Now, do you get a lot of mail from around the United States, or
I got a fair amount, yes.
interesting mail?
Sometimes too interesting. Yes.
Like what?
Let's see. Many prisoners write to me. I guess I'm, kind of a convicted felon's idea of Saturday night. I get a lot of prison mail.
Yeah.
Always from being on TV. My opinion.
Well, yeah, it probably wouldn't be from public appearances.
No, it's no. And it's not from reading books either.
Yeah. Oh no. No. See, I would think that you would be widely read in prison.
I know, but I'm widely watched, or you are widely watched in prison, because I'm only on occasionally. You're here.
No, I've seen you on a lot of shows. You do a lot of them.
A fair amount.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to pause for a commercial, and who knows, maybe we'll return with Fran Leibowitz, folks. Hi there, welcome back. Fran Leibowitz is here, and we were discussing your mail, the prison mail, anything in addition to that that you wanted to mention, or just
No, I
you hear
just
from a lot of prisoners?
hear from a lot of prisoners because I think they watch TV all day.
Uh-huh.
And so whenever I hear that it costs something like $30,000 a year to keep a prisoner in jail, I can't understand it.
Yeah.
Even if he had his own Sony Trinitron. It would only cost $500.
That's right.
So I don't understand why, but
And the other side of that is, when they get out, they're going to be fully rehabilitated from all that TV watching.
yes. Well, I'm careful not to answer any prison mail.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole different topic. Now, do you enjoy being famous and being people writing you letters that you don't know and recognize you on the streets and so forth?
Yes, if I didn't, I wouldn't come here.
Yeah.
Just like you.
That's probably so. But a lot of
We
people,
could sit there, then they wouldn't.
a lot of actors and actresses say, "Oh no, I can't deal
They're
with
lying.
this." You think they're?
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course, if you don't want to be recognized, you could be an electrician.
Yeah. Have you?
I never believe people who say that.
Yeah. Have you ever, when you go to book signings and so forth?
Yes, sometimes I sign books.
Yeah.
I don't go to other people's book signings usually.
No, not as a recreational, perhaps. It would be silly for you to just show up and observe the book signing ceremony itself. Well, but do people ask you odd things to sign in their books?
Sometimes they ask me odd things to sign in their books, but once in San Francisco, a guy asked me if I would bite his book so that he would have my teeth marks. For some reason, this was a possession he desired. I did it.
You did it?
Yes.
So you actually left an imprint there
In his book, yes.
Yeah. And what is the purpose of this?
I don't know. He wanted something, different to show his friends and relatives.
Yeah. And you ever hear from the guy again?
Well, funnily enough, about a year later, a friend of mine was in Mexico and was living there, and it turned out this guy was working for them. And I called up and she said, "You're not going to believe this, but this guy who's working for us has a book that you bit." I knew she didn't make it up because I never told her.
Yeah, yeah. And it only happened once that somebody asked
Yes,
you to buy
only
it?
one person asked me to bite their book.
Yeah, well, that's good. I hate to see that catching on.
It's not
as
a trend.
No, well, that's fortunate. Now, you know John Waters. We've had Mr. Waters on the show before. Now,
He's never asked me to bite a book.
But weren't you going to be in a film with Mr. Waters?
I was in one of John's movies. I was in Desperate Living. And I'd known John at that point about 8 or 9 years, and I knew him as a kind of polite, shy guy you probably know. On the film set, he turned out to be a total dictator, and I rewrote my line. I had one line. I rewrote it, and he disagreed with me. And he cut me out of the movie.
What was the line?
I no longer remember. I don't remember either version, but he cut me out of the movie.
Now,
He said it was an act of friendship, so I guess I wasn't too good. And
my, oh my. Now, you don't look like somebody who would be in a John Waters film.
no, that's probably why he cut me out. I refused to wear a costume. I just wanted to wear my own clothes.
You just wanted to show up as Fran Leibowitz
Right.
here in this bizarre film.
Hi.
Did you get to know the folks? Do you remember the cast in that film?
One of the people in it was Liz Renee. She was a stripper. Not at the present, she may still be one. She was about 50. She used to be married to Mickey Cohn. He was a mobster.
Yeah.
So we rode to the set. It wasn't a set. It was a farm someplace, and it was very cold. It was John, me, Liz Renee, a 9-year-old midget.
Now, how are you sure it was a midget?
Yes, I'm
Because
quite sure.
9-year-olds are short anyway.
Not that short.
Yeah.
I can't think. Oh, a 400-pound woman. I was sure of that. Because we shared the back seat.
Yeah.
All 5 of us.
Yeah.
And another friend of John's. It was. It's not your luxury trip.
Yeah. How long ago was this film produced?
I don't know. Desperate Living was maybe 5 years ago.
You also have, now correct me if I'm wrong about this.
I will.
Okay. People who are, could they be described as punk, who are fans of yours?
Yes, it turned out to. I don't know why.
No,
I have some of the same fans as John, which I think is unfair.
Yeah, now that strikes me as being very curious.
I don't know why, because during the time that was going on, I was in my house writing a book, so I wasn't aware of this trend in fashion. Then I went outside, and people with Royal Blue Mohawk haircuts were saying hi to me.
With what kind of hair?
You know those Mohawk hair where they shave their head?
Yeah,
and have-
yeah. And they were just saying
So,
hi.
Hi, friend.
Yeah, and now again, that's a group of people that don't strike me as being avid readers.
No, but I think they watch TV.
Oh, I see. Certainly a powerful thing we've got a hold of here, isn't it?
That's right. I think it's going to go.
Yeah. Now, you do a lot of traveling. Do you drive yourself around these European...
Oh, well, I don't ordinarily, but this time when I was in Italy, I rented a car. Well, it wasn't exactly a car, it was a Fiat. And it was like traveling Italy in a sardine can. So it's this is the only time I ever did it.
Yeah.
The last time.
Are you getting any closer to achieving your lifelong desire of being on America's favorite game show?
Family Feud?
Yeah.
No. That's the worst thing about Italy. They should have Family Feud there.
They do, well, they don't. Of course they don't. They
No,
have it in
I
many
kept
other
describing it to the
Yeah.
Italians, but
Yeah.
they didn't seem that interested.
Yeah. Well, perhaps when you return, they will have upgraded their, or not upgraded, but added Family Feud to their fine list of American programs already.
Upgraded, I think, is good.
Will you be sure and come back and see us again, hopefully.
I look forward to it.
Fran Leibowitz, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back with Patchett and Parsons. Hi there. Thank you very much, Paul. You know, another question people ask me in the mail and whenever I travel across this great land of ours, they say, Dave, you know, on some night when only one guest shows up, how about a little nightcap theater? Gosh, we haven't seen nightcap theater in... In how many years has it been, Paul, since we first went on the air?
We had Nightclap Theater. I don't even remember.
We went
It's
on
been
the
that
air
long.
when?
But I got to say, I'm thrilled that it's back tonight. Nightcap Theater is one of my.
Well, Paul said it perfectly. I couldn't express it any better. And once again, is it time? Once again?
Yes, David. It is.
Well, no, wait a minute. Wait, just maybe a change in plans here. Ladies and gentlemen, Fran Leibowitz. Fran, how are you? Nice to see you. Now, let me, does that mean we won't be seeing Nightcap Theater?
No Nightcap Theater.
All right, no Nightcap Theater. That's just for Nightcap Theater. Well, you know, let me read your introduction. Just pretend you're not there. That's pretty much what we were doing. Oh, and I didn't mean that. You had trouble in traffic, didn't you?
No, you had trouble sending the car.
Oh,
I had
it
no
was our
trouble.
mistake?
Yes.
Oh, good heavens. Well, give me the name of the guy who was driving. My next guest is a very funny writer and talker. Her book, Social Studies, of which I have a copy right here, has just come out in paperback, and this is paperback.
Yes, it is.
We're delighted to have her with us again tonight. Please welcome Fran Leibowitz, ladies and gentlemen. Well, let me just apologize for the mix-up. I'm sorry there was trouble. Guy go to the wrong house or what?
No, no one was ever sent, apparently.
No one was ever sent.
No.
Oh, Jiminy. Paul, were you in charge of that tonight?
I was supposed to be there. I'm sorry. I meant to be. I was here instead.
They were rehearsing for their number, and of course, he forgot all about you. Well, I'm glad you're here. How did you get here then?
I took a taxi away from a cripple.
Ooh.
And then gave the cab driver $10. So
We'll give you the 10. I haven't got it on me, but you'll get the money back. Don't worry.
Okay.
Now, I noticed, Fran, on the cover of this book,
yes,
a very attractive likeness of yourself.
looks just like me, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. And
You can hardly tell us apart.
but it's also very similar to this photo with one particular difference. Now, can you boys and girls remember the difference? The cigarette is not on the cover of your book. Why is that?
That is because after that cover was approved, the president of the publisher stopped smoking. And so they airbrushed the cigarette out. My initial reaction was just delight that he hadn't gone bald.
So
I think it's kind of a Dada look.
yeah, it looks a little curious, doesn't it? You're just kind of.
Reagan has the same plan for helping the poor. Don't you? It just looks that way.
Now you're out presently on a publicity tour, aren't you?
Yes.
And do you enjoy that? Is that a lot of fun for you?
No, it's not, David.
Not fun at all, huh?
No. It puts you in too frequent contact with airline personnel. That's the worst aspect of it.
Really?
Yes. You may not have noticed this, but stewardesses do not like girls.
I have not noticed that.
Neither do stewards. So you're pretty much on your own there.
And you feel that your care suffers as a result?
Yes, well, I guess they feel that you're taking up a seat that a prospective husband could be sitting on. They particularly dislike girls in first class because they're taking up a seat that a prospective rich husband could be sitting on. So they're real, and the worst way, although you would notice the opposite, the worst flight in the world to take in regard to stewardesses is New York to L.A., first class, with a male TV star on the plane. Because you know you will never get a drink.
Yeah.
You know, unless you, ask Barney Miller to ask for you. You know? That's the only way you can get it.
Yeah. Now, I know in this book there is, you devote a certain amount of coverage to travel hints.
Yes, some of these are directed at the airlines.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is that airlines, I think, are overly specific in departure times. It always says something like, Flight 477 to Minneapolis will depart at 8:06 p.m. And I feel this is bad because it encourages the passenger to think that you have to get to the airport on time and that you'll be actually arriving, say, at 10:09. So I have a graduated table of alternatives to suggest to the airlines that they have a more realistic approach. And it's graduated so that they can do this slowly and not shock their system by being too realistic. The first one is Flight 477 to Minneapolis will depart 8:30. The second one is Flight 477 to Minneapolis will depart, oh, let's say 8-ish. And the third one is Flight 477 to Minneapolis will depart while it's still dark. This way you wouldn't be so angry.
That's right, yeah. What about once you arrive in a strange city, hotel life? How do you get along being in a hotel for any length of time?
Well, fortunately, on a book tour, you're not there for any length of time. But the thing I noticed this time that was different from other times was that until this year, it seemed, certain hotels, very expensive hotels, offered this thing called night service. And night service meant, and it was always explained in the little booklet they gave you, that they wanted to provide the same, good service you're accustomed to at home, which is easy for me because I'm accustomed to none. But it said that, so therefore, a maid comes into your room at night and turns down your bed and gives you a mint. Just like at home.
Yeah, just...
Now, all hotels have night service.
Yeah.
And what happens is you're sitting in your room, someone knocks at the door and says, excuse me, Miss Leibowitz, would you like night service? So if you don't know what it is, you think,
Yeah, so you lose a couple hours of sleep. What the hell?
it sounds promising, right?
Yeah.
But what they mean is, can they come in, turn down your bed, and give you a piece of candy? Now that it's spread to every hotel, not just in expensive hotels, they mean, can we come in, turn down your polyester sheets, and give you a piece of candy? And while I was out on this tour, I was speaking to a friend who was in another hotel in another state, and she said that night service in her hotel consisted of a piece of candy, a small bottle of massage oil, and a shower cap. I asked her in what sequence you were supposed to use these items. This gives you something to do while you're waiting to go on TV.
That's great. Well, you suppose they will eventually upgrade it till you come home and turn down that, put like a grilled cheese sandwich on your pillow? Or just, it's endless, boggles the mind here.
Could be anything. A Scrabble game.
What about New Year's resolutions? It's that time of year again when everybody says things like, it's that time of year again. Now, do you participate in that silly custom?
I make them for other people.
Oh, well, that's good, yeah.
That way, you're not disappointed in yourself when you don't keep them up. So, yes, I have a little piece in this book called An Alphabet of New Year's Resolutions for Others. That's the best way to make them, don't you, Bill?
Could you detail some of those for us?
Well, one is, just because I own my own restaurant does not mean I am entitled to call a dish veal Jeffrey.
I'll go along with that.
That is another one. Another one is just simply no hats.
No hats, period?
For anyone, unless you need that for your line of work. Like it's all right for a policeman to wear a policeman's hat. It's all right for a construction worker to wear a construction worker's hat, but it is not all right for an art director to wear either a policeman's hat or a construction worker's hat. This comes up.
Any others?
Let's see. I say violet will be a good color for hair at just about the same time that brunette becomes a good color for flowers.
Yeah, what is that about? I don't mean to sound stupid about this, but a woman, usually a woman gets to be a certain age and her hair starts to glow. If you see a woman in the sunlight, it takes on a kind of a bluish hue. Now, that's not natural, is it?
Well, it's natural to some people. Well, that's natural to first-grade teachers in elementary school. I didn't mean that kind of violet. I mean the kind that you see on a younger person, where it's deliberate.
Oh, I see.
Where they have a choice. If your hair is white, you have not that many choices. But if you're 16, you have a lot of hair color choices. And violet's not the best choice.
I see. And you find a lot of our young people, and God bless them, are choosing violet as a hair color.
More than I would like to see. I would like to see none.
Yeah. Now, tomorrow night is our big 90-minute extravaganza, and we'll have pets here for Stupid Pet Tricks. Now, are you a pet owner yourself?
No, I am not. Nor a pet fan.
You don't care for pets?
I don't care for animals at all, except in the past tense.
Aren't you glad she made it, folks?
By which I mean I'm not a vegetarian.
You're not a vegetarian, yeah.
And I like leather shoes and things like that.
Do you have any new projects in the future that we can look forward to?
You mean in the pet world?
In any regard, on the horizon.
Well, I'm still working on that same novel I was working on when we first met several years ago.
How's that? Slowly, I guess.
Slowly, yes.
Yeah. That's it? No other projects?
No.
Okay.
I'd like to have my own talk show.
Well, it could be an opening. We're going to go away, but we'll come right back with Fran Leibowitz. Hi. I want to Thank my guests tonight, Mr. Brian Gumble from the Today Show, of course, and Fran Leibowitz. I'm awfully sorry we screwed up in not getting you up here soon enough, but I appreciate you coming nonetheless. You're going camping, is this correct?
Yes, it is.
Looking forward to this?
No.
Well, come back and tell us all about it. Also, my thanks to Paul Schaefer and the band. Tomorrow night, Terry Jones from Monty Python, singer Carla DeVito, Stupid Petrix, and Martin Short from SCTV. Good night, folks. Thank you very much. During the commercial, we got a lot of calls here at NBC in New York, people saying that the opening mail was perhaps the most poignant piece of comedy. And heads of state said that that's probably what we need in these sad times we find ourselves in now, so no need to thank us, America. My first guest tonight is the author of a book entitled Metropolitan Life and Social Studies, as well as a front-page newsmaker. Look at this, boys and girls. Fran Leibowitz, right there. Well, we'll find out why she's on the front page of the New York City, New York Post. There's Fran right there. Writer says dentist pulled a fast one. We'll get to the bottom of this, don't you worry. Please welcome Fran Leibowitz. You know, first of all, let me just congratulate you on, that's a fine, it's a stunning photo of you right there on the front page.
Thank you, David.
Now, can you, for myself and the rest of the country, explain what the deal is here?
Well, I'm not at complete liberty, having had a talk with my lawyer and your lawyer.
What can you tell us about the big case?
Well, not much, David.
Not much. Okay, let me just, perhaps if I sort of peruse the paper here, I can just read out of this, right?
You can
Since
do
this
what
is
you
a
like.
published account. Okay.
That's right.
Fiery writer, actually, you didn't need to be here for this. I could have read it without you, couldn't I? Is involved in a new court battle, accusing a Manhattan dentist of hitting her in the face for smoking in an East Hampton movie house. The doctor says it was all an accident. Now, you were smoking in a theater.
I lit a cigarette.
You lit a cigarette.
Yes.
And you hadn't decided whether you were going to smoke it or not at that point. But in case you wanted to, it was ready to go.
Oh.
Yeah.
I had long-range plans for the cigarette. I was planning on smoking the cigarette, but before I had the opportunity to smoke the cigarette, I was interrupted in my smoking by this man who said quite loudly to put it out. I complied with this.
You complied with this. Now, according to the account in the Post, it says here, let's see, he kept bellowing at me at the top of his lungs, so I called him something you wouldn't print in your newspaper. Now,
I'll probably
to me,
say on your show.
Yeah, but something that these folks wouldn't print, I got to hear this. What could that be? After the guy asked you to put it out, you called him a name?
Yes.
Okay, hint at the name.
It's a term he should have been familiar with, being in the medical profession.
An anatomical
Yes.
reference. Okay, I think we can all... It's a pretty big blank, but we can all fill that in. And then he allegedly hit you, punched you.
Punched me.
Yeah. Now, were you injured? Were you all right?
Well, I'm all right now. But, it was painful.
So what, you called the police?
I called the police. They arrived in 5 minutes, 4 policemen. Can you imagine that happening in New York?
Boy, that's pretty good. 5 minutes. Yeah.
4 policemen, and they arrested him.
Yeah. Now, I guess I have to mention that regardless of what we have discussed here, the dentist has his side of the story, of course, and
I suppose he does.
yeah. Now, what do you?
We're not interested in his side of the story.
And what will be the outcome? Will this guy end up doing time? Do you think?
No, I don't think so. Murderers don't do time anymore.
Oh.
So I don't think that he'll be doing time. No, I'm trying to get it up to an assault charge because they made it a harassment charge. Harassment to me is tripping someone, not punching. So the police weren't eager to prosecute this.
Yeah. Now, it seems to me, not knowing all of the details of this, but while it's no good for somebody to react like that, assuming that he did,
Don't you take my word for it, Dave?
I do. I just feel like I'm in over my head here, as I do many nights. But that's beside the point. But should you have been smoking in a theater like that?
No, but it's not the same thing as punching, do you think?
No, no. That's probably so.
And it wasn't directed at him, smoking.
Yeah.
I feel I took the punch personally.
Now, how about being on the front page of a New York City newspaper?
Well, I actually found it quite enriching.
Uh-huh.
It cheered me up. I think, being on the cover of the New York Post is second best to being on the cover of the National Enquirer. Which is, of course, which is not only my favorite publication, but my career goal.
That's a goal for you,
Yes.
to be on the cover.
It's a common literary goal,
Yeah.
to be on the cover of the National Enquirer.
Well, that's great. And well, you could make it now. I mean, just a step
Well, I feel
away.
it's a start.
I understand since I last saw you that you actually camped out.
Yes, I did.
This and other things we'll have to cover when we return with Fran Leibowitz. Good luck in whatever, just how they figure this out. Welcome back to the program, ladies and gentlemen. We're here with Fran Leibowitz. Tell me about camping out, because you don't. Why did you camp out? You don't look. I know you wouldn't do this by choice.
No, it wasn't exactly deliberate.
Mm-hmm.
There's a magazine called Outside Magazine, which is, I've discovered, a backpacking magazine.
Yeah.
I don't know why you need a magazine for that, but they have one.
It's a nice publication, though, don't you think?
I guess I've never seen it myself.
What an endorsement.
But someone associated with the magazine phoned me and said they thought it would be entertaining for them to have an article about me going camping, and they would put me on the cover of the magazine, camping out. So the main reason I agreed to do it was that I had previous to that been on the cover of only two other publications. One was Interview Magazine, and one was Christopher Street Magazine. So I decided that I would be on the cover of Outside Magazine, and then I would have them all framed together with a little thing underneath saying "Camping with Fran."
So this was more for decorator purposes than anything. Yeah,
This was
okay.
for decorative
Yeah.
purposes. So we went
Yeah.
camping.
Now,
But
where did you go?
I'm not sure. I don't want to be held to this. I think Delaware. It was outside in the country. Wasn't the East 60s, and I recognize them. I suggested perhaps we could get a patio room at the Beverly Hills Hotel and sleep outside there. They didn't go for that.
Yeah.
They did their best, to make it as comfortable as possible. And, I was afraid that they were going to bring, someone had sent me once as a joke, I assume, this little tin foil packet of camping out food. It was about this big, and it said something like turkey tetrazzini
Yeah.
for 6. But I didn't want to eat that, So I asked the guy, how come you had to have this kind of food? And he said, because it was light. So I pointed out that potato chips were also light, and I would prefer them. As even inside, I prefer them.
So you lived how long?
Oh, about 14 hours.
14 hours on potato chips. Yeah.
Yes. I live to tell the tale.
Now, 14 hours. That's not. That's easy. 14 hours, huh?
Well, it was outside the whole time, David. I informed him that Jews never voluntarily sleep outside. That Jews only sleep outside if there's a pogrom. If there are soldiers behind you, you sleep outside. But as a vacation, stay in a hotel.
Yeah. Now, what did you do come nightfall? You're out in the woods, the wilderness here?
Right. Well, we were in like a field, I guess you call it. And an open, an empty lot in the woods. And it got dark. It was about 6 o'clock. They had already had dinner.
You
I said,
with
well,
your
now
potato
what?
chips, yeah.
There was the photographer and the writer who I'd never met before. I said, well, now what do? I'm sitting on a stone in a field in pitch black with two people I don't know.
Yeah, that's not good.
What's the activity now? So the guy said, well, usually we go to sleep. I said, well, usually I'm having lunch at this hour. So I didn't feel I could fall asleep right away, so I suggested we go to the movies. Because there was a town right nearby, about a 5-minute drive.
Yeah.
They said that would be cheating.
Yeah.
So I made the writer stay up all night and talk to me.
Well, that would be all right. I guess that's part of the camping. Now, when will this be published so we can look forward to seeing
I think in about 2 months.
Now, did
I
you
also-
write an article for the publication?
Yeah,
or
they
just...
wrote an article about this, and when I came into the car, I had a suitcase, and apparently you're not supposed to have a suitcase when you're camping.
Yeah.
You're supposed to have a knapsack.
Yeah.
And I wore a coat. Apparently, you're supposed to wear some kind of jacket stuffed with duck feathers.
Yeah, down. You're supposed to wear a lot of down. Let me interrupt here. We got to go away for station identification, but Fran and I will return. Downless. Back to the show. Be with us Monday. Jerry Lewis will be here, and also a look at the world of the future. Elaine Boozler is here tonight, and also Mr. Michael Nesmith and Fran Leibowitz. In the closing moments that we have, do you have any pressing issues that you would like to discuss openly here?
Croissants.
Croissants.
Yes.
Now, what exactly are those?
There's French bread.
The little bent
Crescents,
things. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Have you noticed they've been kind of wildly proliferating all over the place?
I guess you do see them more frequently than you used to, yeah.
Then you would want to.
Yeah, or then you, sure, I guess so.
But it started with that place on 57th Street called Bonjour Croissant. Did you notice that
No,
place?
I didn't know that.
It made me want to go to Paris and open up a place called Hello Toast.
Hello, Toast.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea.
What do you think? You want to purchase?
Yeah, I'd get into that. I'd slap down some dough for that. So pretty much, if you can stamp out the croissant craze.
Yes, I feel a life well led.
Yeah. And anything else you'd like to leave with us tonight?
No, that's enough, don't you think?
I think it is enough, Fran. And I can only wish you my best in your upcoming legal battle. And for heaven's sakes, be careful.
Thank you, David.
I don't know what that means exactly, but be careful. It's not bad advice
I know you're
generally.
going to L.A., but you be careful.
Thank you very much. Fran Leibowitz, ladies and gentlemen. Hi, folks, and welcome back to the program. My next guest is a very talented writer, and she is the author of a book called Metropolitan Life and another book called Social Studies. And from what I know about this woman, I assume that she is probably a very relaxed, easygoing passenger on airplanes. Please welcome Fran Leibowitz.
Hi. How are you? Nice to see you. How are you doing?
All right.
Good. Nice to have you back. I appreciate you being on the show, and thanks for everything. What is this
You're welcome.
photograph here?
That is a recent photograph of me.
Uh-huh.
I gave a commencement address last week.
Really?
Yes.
Where about?
At Bowling Green University.
In?
Bowling Green, Ohio.
Bowling Green, Ohio. And do you do a lot of these commencement addresses?
This was my first.
Uh-huh.
I think it's hard to make a career of it, I think.
Yeah. Now, what did you say to the grads?
Well, it was outside. It was in a football stadium. And I mentioned that it was the first time I'd been in the middle of a football stadium since I had been caught sneaking out of a pep rally in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I was suspended for this
Yeah.
infraction. I went to a school where pep was mandatory.
And but you must have given them words to live and grow by, or was that it? You
That
said
was it,
that,
then.
picked up your check, and you're limoed back to the airport.
Was it? I really don't remember. I just told them some stories of my own school days,
Uh-huh. Any that you could
which
share
were
with
briefer because I didn't finish high school. So.
us? Oh, you didn't finish high school?
No. That's
So-
what qualified me as a commencement speaker. I knew
see.
more about real life. I'd been out in the world longer.
So was this one of the first times that you had actually had a cap and gown
That
on?
was the first time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't you feel a little like an imposter, not having actually obtained a degree yourself, and yet here you are?
No, I didn't have a diploma, just the outfit.
Uh-huh.
Not a very
well, that's
flattering garment, is it?
No, it's not a, no,
It
it's,
gives lie to the fact that a simple black dress is always appropriate.
yeah. Let's talk a little bit about your airline experiences.
I've never had any as nice as that.
Isn't that, do you fly well? Are you pleasant and happy when
I
you fly?
fly better than they do. That's how
Really?
I feel about it, yes. Am I happy and pleasant?
Uh-huh, when you fly?
No.
Yeah.
I believe in being yourself at all times, even when you're flying. I'm somewhat of a complainer on an
Oh, you
airline.
do complain. Now, what kind of things really upset you?
Well, one of the first things that upsets me now is since Mr. Reagan deregulated the airlines, they no longer have to leave at all. It used to be that scheduled airlines had to leave whether they had one person in them or they were full.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if they're not full, they don't have to go, which is a new experience. I mean, it's a new experience. You're used to being just have your planes postponed. Now they cancel them. You get to the desk, you say, when is this plane leaving for Houston? They say, never. A lot of satisfaction in that word, too. Never. It's not going.
You're not going to Houston?
Nope.
So how do you get to Houston?
You go on another airline.
Go on another airline.
Yes. They speak in code. Also, because of this deregulation, they were allowed to get rid of their unprofitable routes, which seem to be all routes except ones to L.A. Because you can now not fly direct anywhere. You have to change planes. And the worst thing about changing planes is not only that you have to make friends with a whole new crew, but you also have twice as much chance of your luggage getting lost.
Now, have you experienced loss of luggage?
In the past year, my luggage has been lost 4 times.
Wow. Why do you suppose that is?
A personal vendetta, I feel.
It's interesting because I have flown, I'm 36, I've flown a lot in my adult life, and I have never, lost nothing. No bags, no luggage, nothing.
Well, you probably have a more likable image.
I'm not sure that's it. But, so what happens? You show up without your bags, and then what?
Well, one time, I used the threat of media exposure to get my suitcase back. I was flying from Dallas to Houston, a distance which I might add you could walk faster than it took to get there. I was on a book publicity tour. I was on like my 18th city in 18 days. And I had 2 suitcases. One had clothes, the other one had books. They lost the clothes. After several hours of talking to them in Texas, it got too late to find anyone in the office in Texas, and I had someone from New York call. And she spoke to a man with an improbable name, Travis Flowers. He said not to worry, my luggage was being handled in a special way because he was in charge of VIP luggage.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I said, what is that, the luggage they lose first? And I told him finally that I would, if I didn't get my luggage back, I was going to have to go on Good Morning Houston wearing a bedspread.
Yeah.
And that I probably wouldn't look that well in a bedspread, and that I would be announcing the name of the airline. And very rapidly, my suitcase appeared.
It did materialize. Yeah. But I don't mean to be nasty, but every time you've been on this show, you've sort of worn what you have on now anyway. So, I mean, I don't. I mean, isn't that fair of me to say? You pretty much jeans and a sweater, right?
Yes, but different ones, Dave.
Oh, it's a whole wardrobe full of these. We'll be right back. Hi, welcome back. This, of course, is Fran Leibowitz, and we're talking about your adventures.
My clothes.
And your clothing. No, I'm sorry. I hope that wasn't taken as an insult, was it?
I took in the spirit it was given, David.
It was given as you always. I think you dress nicely. I like the way you dress. That's all.
Thank you,
And you always look good to me. Now, airlines, food. Do you like airplane food?
Airline food.
Yes, ma'am.
No, I do not.
Yeah.
I feel it's one of the things that puts me in the mainstream of society, is that I don't like airline food. I also feel that food writers have overlooked, there's been a lot of food writers writing about something called nouvelle cuisine, which is this new French food. They think it was invented in France. It was invented on the airlines. Because they were the first people to have these improbable combinations of food. You know, it's when you go to one of these restaurants in New York and you ask, how is the veal done? And they say, the veal is done with white wine, orchids, and raisins. And you say, I just had a craving for that yesterday.
Yeah.
You know? The airlines were the first people with that.
Yeah, there's interesting combinations. Now, do you clean up your plate and hope for a prize later?
No, mostly I say, no, thank you.
Yeah. Now, how are you treated by the cabin attendants?
Not well. Not well. It depends. Stewardesses don't like girls. I mentioned this once before. Unfortunately, neither do stewards. And this causes quite a lot of problems on the airplane. It's very hard to get service from them.
Really? Now, why don't they like females?
Well, the other time I was here, I mentioned it's because they feel that you're taking up a seat a prospective husband could be sitting in.
Oh, yeah.
And this irks them.
So are they nasty to you?
Oh, no, they're not nasty. They just ignore you.
Now, what else irritates you about being on a commercial aircraft? What about small
delays.
children? Oh, delays, we covered, sure.
Endless delays. I once took a flight to Minneapolis that took 14 hours. And when you get off a plane after 14 hours, you don't expect to still be in America.
Yeah.
You expect to see Japanese people. You want to see Japanese people after 14 hours.
Now, where had the flight originated?
New York.
New York to Minneapolis, 14
Right.
hours. That's just the way it goes, huh?
That's right. And during one of the delays on another flight a few months ago from Grand Forks, North Dakota, I was leaving. Good thing to do there. And
Oh, no, no,
it's
no.
a good
I'm sure
activity.
it's a fine town. Isn't it Grand Forks, North Dakota?
It's a glorious metropolis, David.
Yeah.
They have 2 gates at the airline there. I would have left by either one.
Uh-huh.
And
But this is the heartland of America.
it's a little above.
Yeah,
Heartland, actually, yes.
yeah. That would be more the trachea of America.
Trachea,
I guess.
yeah.
Higher up. So
Well, I get on the
anyway.
plane. It was about an hour after I was supposed to get on it. And I finally said to the stewardess, because of course I had a connection to make. You can't fly direct Grand Forks, LaGuardia.
Uh-huh.
You have to stop in Chicago, I think. And I was concerned I was going to make my connection, so I said to the stewardess, "Are we about ready to leave?" And she said, "No, we're still refueling." I said, "Why are you refueling?" And she said, "Because we have to go to Vancouver." I said, "Oh, no, I'm on the wrong plane. I'm supposed to go to Chicago." She said, "Well, we're going to go to Chicago, but first we're going to go to Vancouver." I said, "Why?" She said, "We have to pick some people up. We left them there." I said, "Is this an airline or a carpool?" You know,
They actually went to Vancouver?
I said, "No." I said, "Why do you have to, why did you leave them in Vancouver?" She said, "Well, about 20 minutes ago we tried to pick them up and it was too foggy. It was too dangerous. We're going to try again."
Oh,
I said, "Not with me."
Yeah, no, that's time to get off. We'll be right back, folks. My next guest is Fran Leibowitz. Fran has been on the show before many times. We're always pleased to have her back, and she certainly is back tonight. And ahead of things, let me just apologize for the fact that we're running a little late and your normal allotment of time has been reduced.
That's all right. I feel, actually, that she was inconsiderate.
Any thoughts as to why she might have been here, Fran?
I took it personally.
Uh-huh.
So, and I stay up every night till 3:30 watching her.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't feel she reciprocated.
For her to do
Is she
this
up
to
night
you,
after night reading me? I doubt it.
that's you don't want to do the other? No. Fran Leibowitz, ladies and gentlemen, moments ago told me, I won't even tell you what she told me, but she has decided not to tell you, and so I'm sorry I brought it up. Now, no,
I'll tell you later,
she'll tell us afterwards.
after the show.
This whole thing is very unfair to the
We all
folks
go out
watching at
together
home.
for coffee after
That's
the show.
right.
I'll tell you then.
But she had a terrific line, and you decided not to, and now I've ruined it. I'm sorry I brought it up.
That's quite all right.
Now, you went, you're on the cover of this Outside magazine here, camping. We know you went camping. We know you hated it.
Yes.
And
But it was worth it, huh? Don't you think?
it's a good photo. You
Swell.
take great pictures, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
You always look terrific. Now, you also went hot air ballooning.
Yes, I did.
Again, it doesn't seem like a sport you'd be participating in.
Well, it's not bad because you don't have to move. You just
right.
stand there. The bad part is you can't sit down. But
Now, where did you go for this?
Normandy.
Normandy.
Yes.
That's very exciting.
I went to Malcolm Forbes' house,
Malcolm Forbes' home.
ballooning.
Now, wait a minute. How do you get to go to Malcolm Forbes' home ballooning?
He calls and asks you.
Really?
Yes. Maybe not you, but
No, he hasn't. No, definitely not me. Did you know the man before?
yes, I met him when my first book came out. He called me up, and that's how I met him. And now
He was a
I
fan of
have-
the book, and he said, "Fran, come to Normandy and we'll balloon."
No, not right off. First, we went to dinner
Oh,
to see if we liked each other enough to go hot air ballooning. And the main thing is that I get a complimentary subscription to Forbes magazine, which I read every issue, and I'm still not rich.
now, but you certainly travel in rich company, don't you?
It's not the same thing as being rich, Dave.
No, that's true. We have some photos here of Fran in her balloon.
It's the perfect way to fly, no stewardesses.
Now, that's not Malcolm's home back there, is it?
Yes, that's the house.
Oh, heavens.
That's he only uses it, I think, once a year. In New York, it would be going co-op.
Now, isn't this dangerous a little bit?
No, actually not. I mean, not compared to smoking.
All right. And now this looks like the entire house is going up.
Yes, he has a balloon of his house, which made me want to have one of my apartment.
Now, you mean the guy went out and he has this house, and he says one night over dinner to his wife, "You know, it'd be nice, we had a balloon that looked just like..." And so then he got this deal?
That's right.
That's amazing. Well, that's a pretty good adventure, isn't it?
It's pretty adventurous.
Now, are you spending the summer in New York?
Partially.
Do you like being here for the part that you're in?
There's an up and a downside to it. The upside is that no one else is here, and the downside is there's a reason for it.
And what would that reason be?
Well, it's a little warm.
Yeah.
You may have noticed.
Gets a little sticky and nasty.
That's right. And the subways become even more loathsome than they ordinarily are. You suddenly start dreaming of them in January.
Now, do you find that you run into people from all over the country?
In the subway?
No. In the city, now that folks are visiting from out of
Find
town.
a great number of tourists, yes. And I can't ever imagine what prompts them to come. I can't imagine someone sitting in a nice rural place, you know, in the middle of Ohio saying, you know what, let's go to New York in August. Because it's great there then, you know,
Yeah.
98. People are in even better mood than they usually are. It's perfect.
You're right, there are...
And let's go and walk in front of Fran's house and congregate.
Now, do people know where you live and come by?
Oh, no, I don't mean deliberately. No, I just
just
meant in general, in that general neighborhood.
Yeah.
So, tend to come.
Again, I'm sorry about this, but you saw her. She
right.
just bullied her way on here. We had no control.
Well, that's the type of girl she is, I
Yeah,
think.
she is. But you'll come back when we have more time, and we'll talk
I
about...
may walk onto her show next time.
All right, do that. I think you owe it to her.
See how she likes it.
We'll be right back, folks. Fran Leibowitz, thanks again. How's you working on a novel? It's going all right?
I'm still working on it.
Okay.
So it's not going that great.
Oh, sorry to hear that. We'll be back tomorrow night, folks, with Barbara Walters, Mark Fidrich, and if you want, you can just come on in, too. Good night, everybody.
The audience seems pretty nice, and I think we'll have plenty of fun.
Oh, my pleasure, Dave. Glad to be here.
Yeah.
Hey, who else is on the show tonight?
Well, first of all, there's Fran Leibowitz, and then you, and after that we have...
Wait, Dave. Fran Leibowitz, then me? Fran, then me?
Yeah, that was the order we figured out at the meeting for the billing on tonight's show.
I know, but my name was announced second, you see. Isn't that a little arbitrary?
Well, no, I want to be fair about this. What would you suggest?
Oh, I don't know. How about Home Run Derby?
You mean home run derby, like hitting
Home run derby.
baseballs, and whoever hits one the farthest gets to be first?
Seems to be a kind of fair thing. I don't know.
Okay, well, let's get Fran out here. Is Fran over there? Fran? Hi. I'm sorry to do this to you, but John wants to play home run derby.
You don't mind, do you, Fran?
Do it all the time.
Great. Okay.
All right. So we'll just go on down there, and
Sure.
whoever knocks the ball the farthest gets top billing for the show.
Seems fair.
Okay.
Seems fair.
All right, go on.
That's right.
That's true.
Exactly. You see?
All right.
It's just a name thing.
Seems kind of unorthodox. Paul, could we... maybe bat? Now, is it okay with you, John, if Fran goes first?
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay, Fran.
He's taller.
He is a little taller. He's a little everything. You wanna throw these to yourself, or
You could hold it.
3 balls? You got to clear the railing, and the farthest one gets top billing. No, stand right over here. All right.
Play it fair, huh?
All right.
Right on the line.
3 balls. Good luck. 2 more. It did not clear the railing.
I was never good in gym.
No, it was a very nice swing. Almost. 1 more. Very close.
Come on, Fran.
Well, it actually cleared that railing. All right, Fran. Very nice job. Thank you very much. You did a very nice job. Now, this is... John, if you want top billing, this is the distance you have to beat.
That's it?
All right, there you are. Good luck to you, sir. Oh.
It's one.
You're like Jack Nars on Beat the Clock.
Jack Norris.
Whoa! Oh, my God. Fran, I'm awfully sorry. I'm awfully sorry. There's no need to hit
Fran.
a third ball. John, you're the winner. You'll be top billing
Thank
tonight.
you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you very
Thanks,
much.
Fran. I certainly appreciate it. My next guest is a very funny writer. Her latest book, Social Studies, that is her latest book, and we're always happy to have her on this program. Please welcome back, I believe, recently returned from the Golden State. Here now is Fran Leibowitz. Fran. Always a nice thing to have you on the show. Nice, I forgot a word there. Always a nice, it's always nice to have you on the show. Just
Nice
let
to
it
be
go
here,
at that.
Dave.
Thank you very much, and thanks for participating in the home run derby there.
It was a treat.
You seem like you, it seemed like you were at home with a things athletic, that sort of thing.
Not actually. No.
Really? You don't play any softball, basketball,
No.
field hockey,
No.
nothing.
No. To me, all sports are gym.
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 Yeah. Did you just get back from California? Is that true?
Yeah.
And did you enjoy? I know you like New York a lot. How did you enjoy your trip to California?
Not a lot.
Really?
No.
What was the problem?
It was in California.
Now, what city were you in?
I was in San Francisco and San Diego.
Oh, both beautiful cities. We have a lady here from San Diego. It's a great place. Did you
No,
like San
she's
Diego? She is here.
From San Diego, but here.
Now, what did you think of San Diego?
It's cute.
You didn't find it pleasant to be by the ocean and a lot of sun and beautiful surrounding hills and so forth?
It was pleasant.
Pleasant. What about San Francisco?
It's cute.
Cute. Now, could you live in San Francisco, do you think?
You mean, would they allow me?
No. If you wanted to, do you think you would move from New York to live in San Francisco?
Not unless there was a soldier behind me with a gun.
No, that's a dramatic reaction, but why?
I don't know. It doesn't seem like real life to me there.
How so?
Well, first of all, cab drivers take checks there. And I was shocked to discover this. This friend of mine told me, well, she didn't have any cash for a cab. I don't have any money for a cab. I said, do you want me to lend you some money? She said, no, I'll write a check. I said, to me? She said, not to me you won't. I don't take checks. She said, no, the cab driver. I said, the cab driver takes checks? She said, they do here. In New York, they don't even take cash.
No.
I said, in New York, your own bank won't take your check.
Yeah. That's a little strange. I would not have guessed that you could pay for a ride in a cab with a check.
Well, you can. If you think it's worth living there for that, then...
But it's a very cosmopolitan city. It's a beautiful old town.
It's a beautiful town.
Yeah. All right. Now, what about trouble on the airlines? I know frequently you don't fly too well. Did you have any problems this
I
trip?
fly well. They don't fly well.
They don't fly well. Any problems this
I
time?
show up on time. I'm ready to leave on time. I'm ready to come down on time.
You do your part.
That's right.
Any trouble with them this time?
Not on the California trip. No unusual trouble.
Well,
They were
that's
late,
good.
of course. But,
Yeah.
no, I went the week before that to a town called Rock Island, Illinois,
Oh, sure.
where there are no cab drivers to take checks there.
All right.
But when I was coming home, you can't fly direct New York, Rock Island. You have to go through Chicago.
Uh-huh.
And I was in New York, and I was waiting for my luggage. Always, I wait for my luggage a little nervously,
Sure.
like very nervously. I don't ever expect to see it once I give it to them. So I did actually see it. However, it was in a number of pieces.
Oh.
It looked as if a truck had run over it. And it looked that way because a truck had run over it. The baggage truck
Yeah.
had run over it. It had fallen off, and then they ran over it.
Ooh.
Then they put it back on, and didn't even leave a little note or anything, just put it back on, and it came through.
Oh, they expected that you would not notice the
But
difference.
I wouldn't notice.
Yeah.
It was minor. The handles were completely broken. It was open. Things were spilling out.
Ooh.
So I went into what's called the baggage complaint department, which is a large room, however, not large enough to contain all the people complaining about their baggage. And every time this happens, you walk in, and the person there always says the same thing. This has never happened before. Then they hand you a form.
Uh-huh.
And on the form is a picture of a silhouette of every possible shaped luggage. And your initial reaction is to feel flattered. It's never happened before. They made this for you. This is just for you. You know, it's
Very thoughtful.
very thoughtful
Yeah.
of them. The girl at the baggage complaints department, which they have obviously built just for me, said there was going to be no problem, which is my favorite kind of modern phrase. People who use the phrase "no problem," they're the same people who use the phrase "trust me." You know, people who you can trust don't say "trust me." You have a feeling the Pope doesn't say, "Trust me on this one, guy." You know? The Pope doesn't have to say it.
No.
You know? But the airline has to say it. Trust me, no problem, which is code for severe problem. A severe problem will now be happening to you through no fault of your own.
Yeah.
So she said, "It's not a problem. I see that this bag is severely disabled. And you have a choice. You can either give it to me." I already gave it to them, and this is what happened.
Yeah.
You might give it to me, and tomorrow I will bring it into town and have it repaired. Or you can bring it in yourself. So for some reason, I didn't trust her to take it into town. So I took it in my suit. She called up the guy at this luggage repair store. It's kind of a operation they have, you know. It's kind of a little con game. They pretend to call someone up. You know, there's no one on the other end of the phone.
Uh-huh.
And they say, "I'm sending this person over and her luggage is broken and we want you to replace it." She said, "This, I think, can't be fixed." This was a very astute judgment because it was in about 18 pieces.
Uh-huh.
"This can't be fixed, but we'll replace it." I said, "I don't want it replaced with another bag. I want it replaced with the same bag."
Right.
She said, "Well, they'll replace it for you." And I went there, and of course, they chose not to replace it with the same bag, but with a bag of a similar color. However, made of a different material.
Yeah.
So I said I didn't want this bag, and a large fight ensued where they said, "We're going to get the airline on the phone." And they got this other person on the phone who said, I said, "Listen, the girl at the airport said you were going to give me the same bag." She said, "The person at the airport is there simply as a courtesy to the passenger. She has no authority." I said, "What do you think the word courtesy means?" "Well, it means lie. She's there as a liar to you. Her job is to get you out of the airport. They want you out of the airport. They don't want you standing there
No
with your broken
kidding.
suitcase, because then when the next person comes in, they're not going to be able to say, 'This has never happened before.'"
Yeah. Did they ever make good on the bag?
No, they, she said, "We're going to send you a check for a certain amount of money," which was a third of what the suitcase itself cost, not to mention the several pairs of properly aged blue jeans that were in the bag.
Yeah.
She
That's
said,
nasty.
"We're going to send you a check for this." And I said, "When will this check arrive?" She said, "In 6 to 8 weeks." I said, "What if I flew with you and then paid you 6 to 8 weeks later?" She didn't.
They wouldn't go for that. No, no. We got to go away, Fran. We'll be right back. That's awful story. Fran, nice to see you again. Thank you very much for coming back. You're certainly welcome here anytime. We'll get you some luggage. Don't worry about that.
I look forward to it.
David, also, thank you very much. Very nice. I certainly enjoyed having you here. Come back anytime yourself. Also, my thanks to John Candy. Now, tomorrow on this program, Gary Mulder will be here, opera star Brenda Boozer, and Henry Winkler. You know, they're celebrating their 42nd year on the air, so we'll look forward to that. Good night, folks.
Where the news is. Watch NBC News Overnight next.
All right. My next guest has been with us many, many times on this television program. She's a very talented writer. She is the author of such books as Social Studies and also Metropolitan Life. Please welcome Fran Leibowitz. You look good. You feel good? Fran, how are you?
Fair to middling.
Fair to middling. Do you know the origin of that expression?
No, deal.
No. What does the word middling mean?
Fair.
Does it? Are you saying middling or are you saying meddlin? Fair to meddlin?
I say middling.
Middling. Are you dropping the G off the word? Fair to middling?
No, middling.
Fair to middling.
Yes.
And yet you don't know the origin of that expression.
That is correct.
All right, well, this is going to count against
Is there a
you when we
penalty for
total.
that?
Yes, at the end of the year when we total up the guest points, you could be in a hole. Now, where have you been? You haven't been around in a while. You're one of our favorite people on the show, and you haven't been here in a long
That's quite
time.
true.
What's? I hope there's no trouble.
There is now. I was bumped 6 times.
6 times.
Right. Bumped is a TV word for disinvited.
Now see some. We've never actually had to bump an audience, but.
You never actually had to bump me either.
No. Now, Fran, you understand, of course, that it was not intentional. Sometimes we just go nuts and we run out of time.
That doesn't matter to me.
No, I know. So it's actually been 6 times?
6 times.
Now, this must be...
Twice yesterday.
No.
Yes, twice in one day. Yesterday they called and said, could you do the show today instead?
Uh-huh.
I said...
Oh, you mean you were supposed to be here yesterday?
No, I was supposed to be here today. But yesterday they called and said, could I be there yesterday instead?
I see.
Being a kind of magnanimous person, I agreed to this.
Yeah.
I called my mother.
Oh, no. Now, don't tell me this.
Tell her this. She called 12,000 women that she most of them her sister. Then your producer called me and said, Fran, you know, it's kind of crazy here. And
now, tell me what this conversation is like, because I just want to hear what kind of nonsense they tell you. How does this go?
I'm not going to name names.
No, name names. Go ahead.
No, I know.
It's the holiday season.
I'll watch you get sued. No, she said, Fran, it's kind of crazy here, but I know you're going to understand.
Now, this is the producer talking.
Right. This is, they learn this conversation. They take a little course in medical school. Right? They go briefly 1 month to medical school where they learn to say, it's kind of crazy, but I know you're going to understand, but we mixed up your x-rays with someone else. That's right. So I know you're going to understand, but someone else is going to be going very long on the show, and we don't want to actually bump you. Apparently some people come here and get bumped. This has not happened to me. Yeah.
I thought that's the way it did happen, is you show up and you get bumped.
No, that's probably the way it happens to some other people. Like the guy who was going to say the alphabet backwards or something.
Yeah,
I noticed him
that's a
here
long time.
years.
We got all that straightened out.
He lives here. He has an apartment, right? No. And she said, we're going to switch you back.
Oh, yeah.
But don't worry, Fran. This is my favorite phrase. We're going to make it up to you. Now, I want to know what this meant. What does this mean? You're going to give me my own show? You're going to buy me a car? You're going to take over my mortgage? How could you make this up to me?
And what...
Well, what about my mother?
See, I didn't make this promise, first of all, so you can't possibly hold me responsible for it. Go ahead and smoke, by the way.
Okay.
Now, Fran, do you ask the man, how are you going to make it up to me?
It wasn't a man.
Oh, it wasn't a man. Who was it?
It was a woman.
A woman. All right, do you ask this woman? All right, fine.
I did.
And what did she say? How are we going to make this up to you?
That's iffy, you know.
Yeah. Well, let me just say that tonight I think we have a nice long hunk of time here to talk to you. So that's sort of
not the point.
That's not the point.
No.
Well, we'll get back to this later. Now, in the meantime, you haven't been on television. Have you been?
I've been on television. I haven't been on your show.
That's what I mean. You haven't been on our show, but have you been watching other shows?
Yes, I have been watching other shows.
I know you're an inveterate television watcher.
All the nights you bumped me, I bumped you. I watched other shows.
You watched other shows. And how did you find the fair?
But I'm going to make it up to you, David.
So what do you watch?
I watch mostly game shows.
Yeah.
I like to get right to the point when it comes to television.
Yeah.
I assiduously avoid public television because not that enamored of English accents myself, and I feel that TV has a responsibility to be mediocre, which most of the time it lives up to. And
that's right. My God, we're doing our share here every night.
Doing a hell of a job.
Thank you.
But there's a very big crisis in TV land.
What is that?
Mary Tyler Moore is not on anymore. She was on this network, so I feel that
Well,
maybe
no, wait
they're
a minute.
watching.
She's not on in New York, was what you're saying. She may still be on all over the country, but...
Luckily, I don't live all over the country.
Yeah.
I live here.
But you were used to watching her at what time?
She started going at 3, 3:30, and 4.
A.M.
That's right.
Oh, this is brutal. This is
And,
unbelievable.
This is the time of night you need Murray. I find it necessary to watch Mary Tyler Moore at this hour.
All right, so now what are you doing to struggle through without
Well,
Mary?
I thought I'd come on here and perhaps you would have some influence.
No, there's nothing I can do there, but what have they
I
replaced her
didn't mean
with?
you personally. I thought maybe this raise out.
Oh, I see. So you're... Yeah.
I
But
thought public opinion would swing.
in the meantime, what is on instead?
The new treasure hunt. Do you think this is acceptable? Is this an adequate substitution for Murray?
The new treasure hunt.
What was the old treasure hunt?
Who is the host of the new treasure hunt?
I don't recall. And neither does he.
No,
He's still remembering the old treasure hunt. He hasn't gotten quite into it yet. You don't really want to watch people not win $25,000 at 4:30 in the morning.
Is that what happens? They don't? They get close,
No
but
one
they don't
ever
win?
wins. But
What do you have to do to win the new treasure hunt?
A lot of kind of undignified things. I don't recall them. I haven't really been a very steady viewer of it.
Yeah.
I'm in such a rage that
Yeah.
Mary Tyler Moore's not on.
So your life has just been a living hell, hasn't
been-
it?
terrible.
All right, Fran, what we have to do is a commercial, but look at this. You're coming back after the commercial.
Are you?
We All right, we're back, Fran, and just let me tell you, talking about bumped, we've bumped somebody tonight, and he'll be on next Thursday, or he'll be on
It's
this
not that
Thursday.
very big guy.
He's a very large man, very funny man, but he'll be on
I hope
Thursday
not an
night.
angry man when I...
No, he won't be angry. He's a very nice man. George will be on Thursday night. Now wait a minute. We're doing this. We're trying to make this up to Fran. We're making this up to you. How do you like the holiday season here in New York? Are you enjoying it? Now, this must be a happy time for you. All of the people, all of the shopping, all of the lights, all the excitement. You're enjoying it, aren't you?
Fair to middling.
Fair to middling.
Not exactly. New York is the worst time of year to be in New York.
Really?
Yes. You may know it's very crowded.
It's always crowded.
It's unusually crowded.
Yeah.
If it takes an hour and 10 minutes to walk down Fifth Avenue, 5 blocks, it's unusually crowded.
Right.
With people who do not live here and pay city income taxes. That's what I think of it. The other day, it took me almost 2 hours to drive uptown, and 5 cars with Connecticut license plates were blocking my car.
Yeah.
Because they were putting packages into their car. So I explained to them that I didn't go to Westport to go shopping and block up their streets, and they didn't
How did they
agree with
respond
me.
to this? Was there a fight ensued here?
No, not physical.
Yeah, all right.
We traded words.
But by and large, Fran, don't you find people to be a little bit nicer this time of year here in the city?
To me? Yeah, well, I find people that are waiting for their tips to be doormen.
Doormen are nice?
So suddenly remember you live in the building, and
Yeah.
it's astonishing. Mailmen suddenly start putting your mail in the box within this first 6 months of it arriving. And it's I got a letter from my management company who manages my apartment building with a list of all the employees. I've only seen 3. On the list were 36.
Yeah. So now are you going to take care of those people?
Are they going to take care of me? I mean, I'm going to talk to them and see, what they're going to do for me. We're going to
You have a terrible attitude. You know what? You should be a little more, excited, giving, a little happier to be alive and drawing air on this wonderful planet. Oh, my.
They probably live in Westport,
Yeah, probably so.
where it's nice and empty, quiet.
Now, you have some gifts in the bag. Now, are these gifts that you've received, or?
These are gifts I've received.
All right, let's take a look at them real
But
quick.
these are not Christmas gifts.
These are not Christmas gifts, but things that you've accumulated on birthdays and other holidays and so forth?
Well, first I have to explain that I don't want to brag, but I'm a world-class hypochondriac.
Good.
All right.
Good.
So I received this for my birthday. I don't even know. You know how to
Let me
do it.
hold this up for you. Is this the right one? Fran Leibowitz, M.D. That's terrific.
Which I wore to my parents' house on Thanksgiving. And my father wept with joy. He thought that in between watching Family Feud and Name That Tune, I had gone to medical school. He was very pleased.
Very excited. All right.
pleased.
Yeah. What else do you have in the old bag there? Oh, this is good. A little reflex tester.
Right. Some people have them, some people don't.
Do you
I've
use
seen
that?
too.
Do you know how to use this thing?
For reflex testing, no. It's kind of a multi-use.
What other uses do you know for that?
I'll write them down.
All right, good. While she's doing that, we have to do a commercial, but we'll be right back with Fran Leibowitz. My apologies to George Wallace. He will be rescheduled and appear on this very show on Thursday. He's a very funny gentleman, and I'm sorry we didn't get to him. Now, did you have a nice time tonight?
Swell.
Good. My thanks to Fran Leibowitz, Edie McClurg, and Mel Tillis. We'll see you tomorrow night, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, stay home from work, get plenty of rest. It's our big Christmas special with Pat Boone and Brother Theodore. Good night. Paul Schaefer, ladies and gentlemen. Now, she seems like a very nice woman, don't you think?
Great.
Yeah, I feel proud to have this woman represent us for the forthcoming year. What do you mean, where is she? No, she has other commitments. She's Miss America. She goes on now and works her way across the country, state to state. And it's pleasant to people.
Very nice.
Very nice woman. Very nice, lovely young woman. Tomorrow on this program, ladies and gentlemen, Mariel Hemingway will be here. Is that right? Do I have the right show? Wow. And sports writer...
No, it's the Douglas Show.
Sports writer Mike Lupica will be here, a very funny, witty, knowledgeable gentleman in the area of sports, and I guess in all other areas of his life. We'll certainly find out. And Denny Johnston, who is a fine comedian. That'll be tomorrow night. But we're not, oh heavens, we're not even half through this one tonight. We have plenty of show left tonight, and I'll prove it right now. My next guest is the author of Metropolitan Life and Social Studies and is a very entertaining woman with some very strange observations. Please welcome Fran Leibowitz. Thank you very much for being here. I haven't seen you in a long time. Have you had a nice summer?
No.
What's the matter?
We don't have time.
Don't have time. No. What about your apartment situation? Is that better, worse, about the same?
It's for sale.
You're selling an apartment. Yeah. Now, was there...
Buy it?
No, I don't want to buy it. I probably couldn't afford it.
You can afford it.
Where's the apartment?
It's at Midtown.
Oh, that's a very expensive property.
I think you can swing it.
Yeah. Now, what about other matters in your life of a litigious nature?
They're still going on.
Can we talk about that at all?
They're the same ones.
But can we just hint at it so people know what we're hinting at?
Yes, you're the only person in America not suing me.
Oh, yeah, but you're being sued because of...
general ill will, I feel. You know, now you can see... one of the excessive byproducts of democracy is that anyone can sue anyone with no reason. You've seen these ads on TV for lawyers. You know, have you ever broken a nail, dropped an egg, had a headache, lost your wallet? You are owed money.
You're entitled to some sort of compensation.
That's right.
Yeah.
This shouldn't happen to you.
But in particular, I'm sorry? Oh, they can't hear Fran. No, why is that?
She's speaking very soft.
Are you with the show?
Yeah.
Man, I thought maybe you're an audience member. I'm sorry, we can't hear Fran here. I know the tickets cost us nothing, but we can't hear.
He's a lawyer.
He's an attorney, sure. So now what will Fran do?
I owe him money because he couldn't hear.
That's right.
You can speak up.
Oh, speak up a little.
I'll do my best.
All right. Well, now, why were you telling me this? You should be telling Fran.
We don't know each other.
Jeff Samaha, Fran Leibowitz.
Hey, Fran.
All right, Fran, do you mind speaking up a little bit? Well, what if she just talks into this one?
Oh, well, that one's there for her.
Oh, this is your own microphone.
Thanks. I'd rather have an apartment.
Have you ever met Miss America? Did you get to meet Susan, who was here?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Ever met any others?
Any other what?
Any other Miss Americas?
Yes, I actually have.
Who did you meet?
Well, I don't remember her name. I think of her... I kind of think of her just as Miss America.
Yeah, well,
it's a generic term. So,
in a certain regard, it is, yeah.
It was a few years ago. I was on a publicity tour for My last book. And I use the word last in its every sense, it seems.
No.
In Chicago, and when you were doing all the Chicago media on the same day, and so was she. So I met her in many TV studios. She was with a chaperone, 2 chaperones, and actually she didn't really need either one of them, I don't think, but...
Now, Fran, what do you mean by that?
You wouldn't, if you saw this girl in a crowd, you wouldn't say, there's Miss America. Let's put it that way.
Oh, I see. So,
you might have thought, there's Miss America's chaperone.
But again, we hastened... No, it wasn't this one. It was not this one. No. Who is a striking woman, don't you think?
Yes, and easily made distinctive from her chaperone.
Yeah. Okay, so now you're in Chicago with this woman and on talk shows and so forth?
We were on 6 shows together. By the 6th show, which was the local PBS news show, I was sort of weary of Miss America. And I went on before her and gave all her answers to the questions.
And how would that work? What would that be like?
Well, it was very easy since she had only one answer to every question. Which was, I think that's up to the personal individual.
So that was pretty much it then, huh? There you go.
Thank you. That was it.
Did you, have you ever been to Atlantic City?
Yes, I have.
You go there to gamble?
I went there, I think it was about a month ago. In fact, I ran into Mr. Schaefer on the helicopter.
On the helicopter?
On my way there.
You and Fran went to Atlantic City on a helicopter?
Coptered out there together, yes.
No.
Yes, and he sang a song, in fact, for about 24 hours, called Atlantic City.
An original piece of music, Paul?
No, a song he says he heard Robert Goulet sing.
It's true. It's a song that Goulet sang in the movie Atlantic City. And it's one of my favorites.
And he sang it over and over and over again.
But it was always entertaining.
Yeah. Now, you guys went together, or you just...
No, we happened to
coincidental.
be on the same helicopter.
Yeah, and why did you go? Why were you going?
We both went for the same reason. We both went to Raquel Welch's opening. And we just happened to be on the same helicopter, or bird, as it's referred to in Atlantic City.
Bird. Now, are you a fan of Raquel Welch, a friend of Raquel Welch?
I'm a friend of hers.
Friend, and so you went to see the opening.
Right.
Now, did you gamble while you were there?
Yes, I did. But I don't really call it gambling. Gambling means you have a chance of winning. You don't have that much of it. It's like the lottery. We have a lottery here in New York. I feel you have the same chance of winning a lottery whether you play or not. This way, I often save the dollar.
That's right, yeah.
But I still listen to see if I won. I did once win, actually. I won in the $22 million lottery. I won 4th prize, which was $13.
Now, is that true?
It's a kind of a leap, don't you think?
Yeah.
First prize, $22 million. 4th prize, $13. Well, the problem was that 88,000 other people also won 4th prize.
So you divided up, sure.
We divided it up, and there was no fighting. But I did torture myself with trying to figure out how much I'd won if the other 88,000 hadn't lucked out.
Yeah. It's difficult because when they had the last big pot, we bought a ticket for the studio audience. And everybody I've talked to who makes one of these spur-of-the-moment purchases, you go to dinner and you forget about it, and then just as they're getting ready to announce the winning ticket, you say to yourself, I have a funny feeling that I may be the winner here. And then you tune in, and of course you don't have any of the numbers.
Well, last week, I so much needed to win the lottery that I felt I was going to win, and when they announced it over the radio and I looked at my ticket, I had the first 2 numbers.
Yeah.
The guy said 5, I said, He said 19, I said, that's right. He said 14, I said, no. And I thought he made a mistake.
Yes.
I called up.
Correct a mistake. Yeah. Let's see. Do you have anything you want to mention upcoming here? No, you'd come here anyway, wouldn't you?
You mean anyway what?
If it weren't even for the money, if it were free, you'd come.
If it was free?
Yeah, come on.
You mean if you didn't pay?
Yeah.
No, I come for the big money you pay here.
Oh. Well, we don't have anything here to plug.
Nope. That's the kind of person I am.
Well, nice seeing you again.
Nice to see you.
Good luck with your life. I hope you have a nice, whatever. We'll be back with Bob Sarlacc.
1, 2, 3.
Our next guest is a witty and insightful writer whose books include Metropolitan Life and Social Studies. She's not been here with us for quite a while, but she's back tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome Fran Leibowitz. Hi. Hi, hello. How are you? Pleasure to see you. Fran, how are you?
I'm all right for a person my age.
What do you mean for a person your age? I would guess you and I are probably about the same age.
I'm younger.
You're younger?
Yes.
Well, good. Good
But
for
that
you.
doesn't make me young.
You look good though, regardless of. Are you like a hypochondriac? Do you worry about health?
I'm not like a hypochondriac. I am kind of a professional hypochondriac.
And you enjoy it?
No, I don't enjoy it.
Really?
That's what I meant by professional.
I see. I enjoy it. I guess I have a little of that in me, and I find it to be just a fascinating hobby.
I saw the show last night.
Yeah.
And you mentioned your cold.
Yeah, I have a cold.
I know. And I noticed you coughing and then shaking hands with the guests.
Oh, sure.
This concerned me somewhat.
I've done a little of that here tonight, Fran.
I noticed that.
Yeah.
I've kept my hand right here, though.
Yeah.
And you asked if you could die of a cold.
Right.
A thought that had not previously occurred to me. So I spent most of the night reading the Merck manual to see if, in fact, you could die of a cold.
And can you die of a cold?
No, you cannot. But
Cannot
there
die
are
of a
many other diseases that you probably have not thought about
That start out as a cold?
that seem to have cold-like symptoms. The Merck manual is a compendium of horrific illnesses.
You don't need to
You have
explain it
one.
to me. I have one.
This is the
And
worst
many
book.
pages are dog-eared in mine.
Mine is falling apart. Mine was given to me by a friend of mine who's a doctor, who thought it would help me to not call him and disturb him. In fact, it's done the opposite.
Oh, sure. It's the worst thing you can do for somebody who has hypochondriacal tendencies.
It's one morning I woke at 5 in the morning with very dry eyes. This has probably happened to you.
Dry eyes?
Dry. I had no tears in my eyes. Ordinarily, I do at 5 in the morning.
You're usually up sobbing, aren't you?
Frequently. And so I looked in the Merck manual until I discovered a fatal eye disease.
Oh, no.
The main characteristic of which was dry eyes. I then tried to figure out what would be a good time to call someone on Sunday morning. I thought 7 was too early. I thought 7:05 was fine, though.
But the whole time you're in stark terror, aren't you? Yeah.
Terror. Yeah. I was terrified. And
I know.
not only did I have that symptom, I had many other symptoms,
Of
and I had
course.
time between 5 and 7:05 to look at many other diseases.
Yeah.
And so I figured 7's too early to call someone on Sunday morning. 7:05 is entirely appropriate, I thought. And I called him.
Yeah. And what did he say?
I said, David, his name is also David. I said, David, I have this dry eyes, and I think I have. He said, you don't have, he names this something syndrome.
Yeah.
I said, how do you know? He said, you don't have it. You also have to have, he named 7 other symptoms, which I then got.
Of course you get them automatically, yeah. But if you really are a hypochondriac, and I guess this is not to be made fun of in some cases, it possesses you, it overwhelms you, and paralyzes you with fear.
It's worse than being actually sick.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly right. And
Because
can
you
make
have the
yourself
fear,
sick.
but no one feels sorry for you.
Yeah, I'm so bad that on my night table at night, I have the fire department number, the police department number, and the coroner's office, because I feel like I want to get a call in right to them before I expire.
It's very wise of you.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you give me the number after the show?
I'll be happy to do that. So what have you been up to?
Mostly that.
Since we last saw you. How long has it been? A couple of years?
3 years.
3 years. But you, I must say, I admire this. There's kind of a consistency to your appearance, and I think that represents a certain confidence.
I think of myself as a classicist when it comes to wardrobe. Yes.
Yeah. Jeans and a jacket would be it for you, pretty much?
Sometimes a sweater, depends on, I'm kind of whimsical, depends on my mood.
How is your car?
My car is fine again.
You have, can we mention the kind of car you
I have a Checker Marathon.
Checker Marathon, and I don't think they make those anymore, do they?
No, they don't.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful old, there were cabs like that for a while in New York.
Right, it was made by the Checker Cab Company.
Right.
This was a passenger car. It doesn't have a meter, although it may soon.
And why was this your the selection for transportation?
There were 2 reasons for this. It was the closest thing, the car that looked the most like a Rolls Royce that I could afford. And to me, it looked the most car-y. It was. I bought it in 1978 when cars looked pretty much like electric shavers.
Yeah, exactly.
And it looked very car-y to me. It looked like a cartoon car. It looked like
It's
sort
a
of car.
big, clunky.
Right. It's a big car, round, and it looked like a family of ducks should get out of it.
Yeah.
And so it was both entertaining and opulent, and those are 2 characteristics that very rarely you find together.
Yeah. But it's not an ugly car, but there's no mistaking
beautiful car.
It's a car.
Yes, it is definitely a car.
Yeah, and do you think people might pass you on the roads and say, geez, that's Fran Leibowitz. Oh, my God, she's driving a Rolls Royce.
I think it depends, you know, what neighborhood I'm in.
Yeah. Did you, what? We have to go? Yeah. Oh, no. Well, we'll do our own show later.
Okay.
Stay right there. We'll be right back, folks. Paul, we're finished, Paul. What do you think? Was it a show or not?
It was a show.
Okay. Fran, good to see you. And come back more, come back sooner than you did the last time, or whatever that means. Come back again.
Okay,
nice to see you. Good night, everybody. We'll be here with Martin Short tomorrow night. Have a nice evening.
Okay. Paul. May, come with us. We'll go to Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
It's a lot of fun.
I'm there.
Okay.
What's the tail number? That's all I have to know.
What's the what?
What's the tail number?
What's the tail number?
Yeah.
What the hell does that mean? What's the tail number?
When you take a private jet, whether it be a
I
Lear
see.
or a G2, you got to know what the tail number is.
Jeez, gosh, you're getting hipper and hipper.
You know what I mean? I'm trying.
Our next guest, but is lovely, and it's spring in Indianapolis, in Indiana.
Oh,
What
it's
could
gorgeous.
be better? Yeah. My next guest is a witty writer whose books, in fact, she's going with us. You,
Fran.
me, Altman, Witherspoon, and Fran.
Perfect.
We're going to the Indianapolis 500.
Sounds perfect.
Our next guest is a witty writer whose books include social studies and, of course, the legendary and popular Metropolitan Life. Ladies and gentlemen, here she is, Fran Leibowitz. Fran? Fran, how are you? Nice to see you. Nice to have you here. Thank you. Fran, I see you've succumbed to the folding shoulders.
No, it's age.
No. These things. Normally, you would have a nicely tailored blazer, but now you've got them drooped over your shoulders.
But this is kind of a sweater-like jacket.
Sweater-like jacket, so we can excuse it in that case.
That's right. It's kind of a cardigan.
I see. Nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Been on
for your
vacation?
fashion help.
Thanks for what?
Thank you for your fashion help.
Well, you know why I bring that up? I can't get into the big shoulders.
Well, I wasn't going to bring it up.
And everywhere I go and everywhere I look, I see people wearing the big shouldered jackets, and I can't deal with it.
I mean, you don't want to wear it or you don't want to see it?
No, neither. I want them to go away. I want us to get back to normal clothing.
Well, you could ticket them.
Actually, write them up?
Right, fashion police.
Have you been on vacation? Did you go away this winter?
Yes, I actually went to the same place you did.
Really?
Only I made sure I stayed on land.
Yeah. Did you enjoy it?
I enjoyed it for enjoyment, which is usually not that enjoyable. The Caribbean... well, fun is not what it used to be, right?
Yeah, that's true. I don't know what that means either. How long were you gone?
8 days.
Mm-hmm. And
Constant sun.
Well, now that's not good for you.
No, and I didn't expect it, actually. I'd never been there before, and it was sunny all the time.
Right.
And we were on the beach all the time.
Right.
I know you're surprised to hear this, but I'm not really that much of a beach bunny.
Wouldn't call yourself a beach bunny? No. Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
And I like to swim, but I don't like the beach part. The problem with the beach, I think, is the beach is water than sand. Right. I would prefer, say, water than linen. Because sand gets in all your parts.
Sand, it does. That's right. It gets in your ears, up your nose,
right.
and your...
It's uncomfortable. It has no redeeming social value.
Yeah.
It gets up your nose for no reason at all.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
Do you snorkel?
No, I don't snorkel.
Do you...
I prefer big shoulders when it comes to snorkeling. Do you snorkel?
I do a little snorkeling. And I got to tell you, I'm the biggest wimp in the world. I'm happier because you have the mask on and you have the little tube, and that's what's keeping you alive, and you have those silly little flippers. And you can be out around coral for like an hour, 90 minutes, looking down to the floor of the ocean. I have to tell you something, I'm happier when I don't see anything.
Well, I always think whatever they're looking at, I'm going to see eventually washed up on the beach.
Yeah, maybe so. But sometimes I get nervous when I see a shadow.
Cans.
Yeah, it's not good. And oh, so you were last night at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame thing.
Yes, I was.
How was that?
It was actually quite entertaining.
Yeah. Now, do you go because you have friends in the business, or you go for your own
I go for a
entertainment?
combination of having friends in the business, and
Yeah.
it's a good excuse not to write.
Yeah, not to write. Sure. Yeah.
It's hard to write that's noisy.
And what were your observations of the evening?
My primary observation was that Paul, I thought, this must be the culmination of all his childhood fantasies.
Right.
He's on the stage telling big rock stars what to do.
Right.
I mean, there is. He's saying things like, four tops, no. No. Key of C, he's telling Ray Davies what to do.
Yeah.
And I thought would be equivalent to me standing on stage telling Proust how to write.
Yeah.
Not that phrase, no.
He pretty much runs the show there every year.
Yes, he
because
does.
they rely on him to bring it musically all together at the end, and it's
Very
fairly...
impressive.
Yeah, yeah.
Very
and,
enviable.
Any isolated events you can comment on from last night?
I don't know if Paul noticed this, but there was an imposter on the stage. Did you see that guy?
Yes,
I was
we
the
did.
first to notice him.
A guy who had no business being there.
No, no business being anywhere. I mean, there were 1,000 rock stars on the stage, and this one guy who stood out because he looked more like kind of an aspiring accountant.
Uh-huh.
He had a tambourine, and he was one of those people who was like shaking his tambourine in a very unseemly manner, pointing to other people, telling them what to do. And I kept saying, who's that guy? Get that guy off the stage. And he would slither over. First he was next to Boz Scaggs, then Diana Ross. Then he slithered over to next to Bruce Springsteen. That's where they nabbed him.
Oh, really? So this guy was just a crasher then, huh, Paul?
Just a crasher, yeah, with a tambourine.
Is that the first year this has happened?
First time I've ever noticed it, yeah.
Maybe one day he'll be inducted into the Hall of Fame. when they get down to the end of the list. Hey, we got to do a commercial.
All right.
We'll be right back. Okay, Fran, hang around. We got something for you tonight. It's a special treat for young and old, all the way from Jungle Larry's Reptile Ranch on San Diego, California, to sing Blueberry Hill. Please welcome Simon, the singing iguana. There he is. All right, get ready. Hang on. All right, try it again, Paul. The other little feet guy has been sent away again. He's been put out of the building. He was tossed out. He was 86th. He misbehaved somehow.
He was here.
Hal, let's look across the street quickly one more time. All right, this is Tara. Clear. Tell that guy to get out of the way. There, hey, you there. Beat it. Lean. Move. Yeah, there you go. This is a lovely young woman over there, Paul. Very nice. All right. Our next guest is hi, how are you? Our next guest is a witty and trenchant writer whose books... Trenchant, yes.
What does that mean?
Incisive.
Incisive?
Yes, biting, incisive, trenchant. And we're on time.
Yes, we are.
Whose books include Metropolitan Life and Social Studies. Folks, welcome back to the show, Fran Leibowitz. Are you mad at me? You look like you're mad at me. No, don't be mad at me. You came out looking like you were a little steamed already.
No, not yet.
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm fine.
How's your summer going?
Fine.
How do you spend your summers? Go to the beach a lot? You're probably always on the beach, aren't you?
That's me, Beach Bunny, you can tell.
Yeah. Well, you do. You have some color to you.
Yes, thanks to Candy.
Oh, that's makeup.
A dispenser of color.
Well, so how do you spend your time then in the summers?
I go to beach areas.
Beach areas, yeah. Resort kind of places?
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't spend that much time on the beach.
What do you do?
I stay inside and comment on those on the beach.
Why don't you go to the beach?
I don't like the lighting.
Don't like the lighting?
No.
Well, that's the sun.
Harsh. Overhead lighting.
Yeah.
Unflattering.
Unflattering?
Yes.
Yeah.
To a person such as myself.
I see. And then what do you do?
I mean, after what?
Well, I don't know.
Then it gets dark and it's okay.
Yeah, but why go there if you're not going to enjoy it sort of firsthand, one-on-one, together?
Observer.
You're observing...
Other people having fun.
I see.
And trying to put a stop to it if I can.
And do you yourself have fun?
Yes, by observing.
Yeah. What was your life like as a kid? How did you spend your summers as a kid?
As a small child, I went to summer camp.
Summer camp. Oh, now did you enjoy that?
Yes, I did.
What kind of camp was it?
A regular.
Regular camp?
Yes.
Yeah. And what sort of things did you do there?
The primary reason I liked it, I think that all children like camp because there are no adults.
Right.
Yes,
Well,
I
there
think-
must have been some in supervisorial positions.
A 15-year-old, maybe an adult to a 6-year-old, but...
Yeah. That was it? Really?
But counselors, how old are they, 17?
Yeah, but wasn't there like a grown-up running the place?
Well, there was one who owned it. We didn't see him too often. It was run by teenagers.
Wow, that's
8-year-olds.
strange.
An equivalent for adults would be a place you could go where there were no lawyers.
And,
Summer camp for adults.
and you found early on that you didn't have a good rapport with adults? Is that what this is?
No, as a teenager, as a child, I liked to be away from my parents because they didn't tell me what to do. Now I don't like to be with lawyers because they tell me what to do.
Right, right.
So lawyers are parents of adults.
Do you find yourself steeped in litigation? Is that the problem?
Not at the moment.
Not at the moment.
Let's keep it that way.
Have you've been sued? I remember one having to do with smoking a butt in a theater or something.
Let's not relive that experience.
Okay, was that settled?
Yes, it was.
And did you have to pay up a little?
No.
So it was dropped, settled out of court? What happened?
Cannot discuss it.
No, you can, I mean, if it's over, you can...
You can't. No, you can't.
Well, you can't say, can you give us
Haven't
any...
any of your lawsuits gone to the stage where you can't talk about them?
No, I've never actually been sued.
Really?
Yeah. Man mocking me up there because...
It's very unusual.
It is unusual, but then again, we're different people.
Yes, but I got sued for something I said on your show, so...
Oh, really? What? Oh, well, no, then we don't want to get into that. You interrupt your cigarette. Have you thought about giving up cigarettes?
No.
Do you worry about... How many do you pack down a day?
About 2 packs.
2 packs a day, so that's 20 butts a day.
It's kind of an
7
interior
days a week.
sunburn.
Yeah, that's right. That's what it is. And do you think one day, have you set a little goal for yourself? When I'm X number of years old, I'll stop smoking?
I have in my mind that when I finish this book, I'm going to try to stop smoking.
Oh, all right. Now let's talk about the book. What is the book? Fiction? Non-fiction?
Fiction.
Fiction.
Yes. It's
And
taking a very long time to write, partially because I know that when I finish, I'm going to have to try to stop smoking.
so that's kind of a built-in stumbling block for you.
Built-in delay.
Are you worried that when was the last time you had a book published?
1981.
81, and we're now 1990. Yeah. So are you concerned that there's been like 9 years past, or is that all right?
I was more concerned before you did the show today because I feel I've been wasting my time. But now that I see what goes on at Simon & Schuster, what the editors actually do,
it seems to balance out.
Well,
Yeah.
during the day they're getting their hair washed on television.
Well,
This is a wonderful boon for writers that you show this on television.
And are you? Can you tell us a little bit about what the book will be? Can you give us a little sampling, a little insight here?
If I could describe the book, it would be finished.
Oh, I see.
It's called Exterior Signs of Wealth.
And how far along are you with it?
I'm getting near the middle.
And
It's like homework.
is it a bit of contemporary fiction? Is it a
It
period
starts in
piece?
1970 and it goes till now.
Is it in any way autobiographical?
No.
Everything is all made up, nothing to do with you?
Well, I mean, it's my sensibility, but I'm not a character.
There's no one person in there who you identify with?
No.
Yeah.
There are very few people I identify with anywhere. Even in my own book.
Does anybody get murdered?
No.
Will there be pictures?
Only verbally.
Oh, verbally, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And you're looking for this to be completed?
In about a year.
In about another year. All right. And in the meantime, you're living on the money you earned from your earlier books? From here? All right. Well, we'll have you back more often then. All right. I'm glad you're enjoying your summer. What are we doing? Okay, we'll do a commercial and then we'll continue here. Fran, thank you very much for being here. Hello, Meg.
Hi.
Meg, we'd like you and your little friend Tara to be on the show every night, all right?
Okay, that sounds fine.
Okay, tell her, thank her for us.
Do you want to thank her?
Oh, no, you just say thank you. We got to go here.
Thanks. He wants us to be on every night.
All right, have a nice evening.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
thanks. Bye.
Thank you, Fran. Nice to see you. Thanks for being here. Thanks also to Rick Moranis and, of course, the boys from Little Feat. Thank you, gentlemen. We'll see you tomorrow night, everybody. All right. Let's bring out our next guest. She is one of the wittiest observers and writers around today. She is so observant. Just watch her eyes when she gets out here. Like a border collie. Her books include, of course, Metropolitan Life and Social Studies. Ladies and gentlemen, here she is, the one, the only, the ever-observant Fran Leibowitz. Fran!
What's new, Fran? Did you have a nice summer?
There.
What'd you do?
I tried to work.
Oh, you tried to work. What are you working on? I'm fascinated by this topic. I'm glad you mentioned this. Tell me what you're working on.
I'm now in my 10th big year, working on a novel called Exterior Signs of Wealth.
Exterior Signs of Wealth. Yeah. Now, how do you work? Describe for us.
Little.
But describe for us that process. You get up in the morning. What time? Crack of dawn?
Around noon.
Around? Get up at the crack of noon. Yeah. All right, and then
I don't leap out of bed.
No, I wouldn't guess so.
I kind of, I don't want to shock my sister.
Yeah.
I cough for about half hour.
Cough a little bit? Are you still smoking those butts?
Yes, I am.
You ought to give them up.
I feel someone has to do it.
All right, so you get out of bed at noon, and then take us through your day and explain to us how the writing fits in there.
Well, I make an effort to get to the desk at some point.
Get to a desk. You work with a word processor, a typewriter, a pad. What do you do?
I write with a Bic pen.
A Bic pen?
Yes.
And yellow legal?
And yellow legal pads.
Yeah, okay.
I don't need a computer.
Yeah.
I write so slowly that I could write my own blood without hurting myself.
And do you have a goal for yourself each day? I want to write 400 words. I want to write 500 words. I want to write 1,000 words a day. What do you do?
Well, I'd like to write 4,000 words.
Yeah.
I'd like to get a page.
One page, one like 8 by 10 page?
Yes, well, if they had something bigger, I might attempt that.
Yeah, now does that include a grocery list or not?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Doodles. Counting doodles.
All right, now when you've written it, do you put it aside and come back to it later and see if you still think it's what you intended, or do you just let it go and that's it?
No, you mean I don't do drafts, no.
Yeah.
We go syllable by syllable.
All right.
So when it's finished...
So when you've completed that page, you could send it right off to the publisher, and they'd put it right into the book. Okay. Okay.
They could, if they wanted to publish a pamphlet. In which case, I mean, I noticed that I received recently a book in the mail for a quote that was about this. I figured I was finished.
Now, is this your first attempt at a long form of fiction, this novel?
Yes.
Yeah. And do you find this coming more slowly than your earlier collection of essays?
Yes, but not really because of the work. I just think because I'm getting older.
Really? And do you ever question? Do you think
getting a cleft in the chin of my right?
Well, you know what that solution is. Just keep it moist. Moisten everything. But do you ever think to yourself when you're in the grips of this, because I know people like yourself who make their living as writers, it's very, very difficult, painful, arduous, tedious work. Do you ever think to yourself, geez, I'd rather be, almost anything than this? Do you ever consider other activities?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, what would be on your list of things to do?
Hope.
Yeah?
That was my first career choice.
Yeah. You'd look good in the outfit.
I figured. He has a great job.
Yeah. Let's see. We have to do one commercial, and then we'll be back here, Fran. Don't worry about a thing. We'll return in. We have to go. My thanks to Susan Lucci, the show and tell kids from PS 105 and 200, Rich Hall, and Fran Leibowitz. Come up to the house tonight. Do you want to?
Later.
No, I'm serious. Come up to the house and we'll have dinner and, watch wrestling or something. Will you do it?
Sure. It's a date.
All right, no, I'm being very serious. Will you come up there with me or not?
Absolutely.
She's lying. We have to go. Good night, everybody. The artist formerly known as Prince. And I understand he does that same thing on the Kathy Lee Gifford Christmas special.
Oh.
Is he all right, Paul?
I'm sure he is.
Are you sure he's all right?
I'm sure
because he was carried off stage.
Well, he's all right. Take it from me. He's okay.
You remember Julio Iglesias? We had him on the...
Yeah.
There's something odd happened to him that night, too.
I remember that.
Yeah. But do you think he's okay?
I'm sure he is.
Let me give you a pointer for the band. Get yourself some of these things.
Some of that stuff.
Yeah.
I know.
Some of that going, buddy.
We'll be into that. Don't worry.
Now you're in business. Well, that was exciting. All right, settle down. Relax. We'll get you out here. Don't worry. Everything's fine. There's a lot of pressure running one of these nickel and dime shows here. But that was exciting. You don't see that a lot.
No, it's terrific.
Yeah, no. So it'd be nice to have him back sometime. Huh?
I'd love to.
Yeah. Our next guest is the witty and urbane author of Metropolitan Life and Social Studies, and this is her first children's book, but I understand you can't buy this either. It's called Mr. Chaz and Lisa Sue Meet the Pandas. Man, this is some show we got tonight, isn't it? All right, it's going to be okay. Just relax. I'm going to get you out here. Don't worry about it. We'll sell some books. It'll be great. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Smokers, Kathy Lee Gifford, Fran Leibowitz. Here we go. Fran, how you doing?
Fine, thank you.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
What did you think of the artist formerly known as Prince?
Prince is my favorite.
You like him a lot?
I love him, and he's the best opening act I've ever had.
Hey, yeah, that's pretty cool. Now, do you know him at all? Do you hang around with the guy? Do you know anything about him?
I know nothing about him. I don't know him at all. I don't even know him now.
But you but you like what he does. You like his music and so forth.
I love his music, and probably not knowing him is helpful.
Yeah. Now that sounds like an insult.
No, I didn't mean him specifically. I meant human beings in general.
I don't know what that means. But you were supposed to be here a couple of months ago, and we were having way too much fun, and you got bumped. And my apologies for that occurrence, and I'm happy you came back here tonight. What have you been doing since?
Well, since I was here last, I've been promoting these books for 7 weeks.
Now, you have a kid's book. This is a first for you, isn't it?
That is correct.
And tell me a little bit about the book. It's pandas. One panda lives in the city, one panda lives in the country, and
No, that's a different book.
City panda goes to visit the country panda?
No. They're both, they're pandas, they're together. They're a team, a panda team.
Right. What do you know about pandas?
I know so little about the natural world that before I wrote this book, I didn't even know pandas were from China, nor did I know they were scarce.
Right.
I think I imagined that perhaps the lawns of Connecticut were filled with cavorting pandas. However, when I said this to a friend of mine, he said, "That's ridiculous. You've never seen a panda."
Right.
But in fact, I've hardly seen any animals, and if I had to use animals I'd known, I would have had probably dogs or roaches.
Well, that'd be a lovely little book for the kids, wouldn't it?
I thought that
a lot of this stuff going on. But what do you know about kids then? What is the book about for the kids? How does it appeal to kids? Where is the allure for the kids?
Well, first of all, I was a kid.
Yeah, sure.
As opposed to having been a panda. And I'm childish.
You're childish?
Childish.
Childish,
yes.
yeah.
Yes, that's helpful.
But the book is being very well received, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
All right, now that's good. Now let's go on to Metropolitan Life and Social Studies. Which came first?
Metropolitan Life.
And then Social Studies.
And then Social Studies.
A wildly entertaining collection of humorous essays.
That's right. You have both of them there.
That's right. And they have been republished in one form or another how many times?
Oh, in different formats, probably 4 or 5 times.
4 or 5 times. Are you ever going to write anything new?
This is new.
The Panda book?
Yes.
Yes, but it's for kids.
Yes. Oh, I'm writing a novel.
Yeah, I know, but you were writing a novel 6 years ago. When we talked to you 6 years ago...
No. I was supposed to be writing the novel 6 years ago, but I took 10 years off to sulk.
10 years off to sulk?
Yes.
And did you get everything accomplished along those lines you wanted to?
Well, I'm almost finished sulking.
Do you suffer from...
Yes.
Okay. I think I have a little touch of it myself here tonight. But, is there such a thing as writer's block, or does...
Well, people talk about writer's block, but
do you
this was
think you
so
have
long.
it?
No, I had it, but I had something longer. I had writer's blockade.
Some kind of an embargo.
Well, it was very similar to the Vietnam War.
Oh.
It was on the same schedule. I didn't know how I got into it, and I couldn't get out of it. apart from the tragedy of the Vietnam War, the only difference was Henry Kissinger was not involved in this.
That perhaps could have speeded along the extrication there. But you're back and you're up and you're doing it, and you get a best-selling book there, and we have to do a commercial. Stay right there. Can you stay right there?
Yes.
Yeah, where are you going? You got nowhere to go.
That's right.
Of course
That's
not.
it. I'm here.
We'll be right back here with Fran Leibowitz, kids. I didn't hear what you said. Okay, here's the little kids' book, Mr. Chaz and Lisa Sue Meet the Pandas. And then here's Fran hard at work on her novel. Nice to see you. Thank you very much for coming back. Also, my thanks to the artist formerly known as Prince and Kathy Lee Gifford tomorrow, Kim Basinger, John Cicada, and Jeff Daniels. Thanks for watching. Good night, everybody. Our next guest is an acclaimed author and the subject of a new HBO documentary entitled Public Speaking, which premieres November 22nd. Ladies and gentlemen, the witty, the entertaining Fran Leibowitz. There it is. Come over here now, right there. Fran, how are you? Nice to see you. You and I go back a long way. You used to come and visit us on the old show at NBC. Remember those days?
I do.
Yeah, it was a lot of
Vividly. You were shorter.
I was shorter.
You've sprung up.
Yes, I have. No one can explain
It's a function of middle age.
Like Jake Gyllenhaal's beard. No one knows. Their medical experts are baffled. How have you been?
It's been up and down.
Really?
I mean, I think 16 years ago I was here.
16 years ago. But you've continued to work. You write columns, essays, everything.
I continued not to work, which is why I haven't been here for 16 years.
You are working on a novel, as I recall?
Same one.
Really?
Yeah. So easy to recall.
How and what kind of progress are you making on the novel?
Obviously not much.
Yeah.
It's half done.
Half done?
Yes. It's been half done for several years.
I see.
When something is half done, it stays that way.
Oh, really?
Yes.
No
it doesn't progress. It's not like Jake Gyllenhaal's beard. It doesn't continue to grow on its own.
Okay, so you won't finish, is what you're saying?
Oh, no, I will finish it.
Yeah. And will it turn out to be worth the wait?
Well, that would be, depend on other people make that judgment. That's the fortunate thing about other people.
Are you happy with it now?
No. If I was happy with it, it would be done.
I see.
That's your first clue.
You have I think we talked about this on the old place, you have a bit of writer's block.
Well, at this point, I would say, call it kind of writer's blockade.
Blockade, yeah. More permanent.
Right. A writer's block is something temporary, 10, 12 years. That's a writer's block.
Now, when you go out and you speak at colleges and high schools and you talk to various groups, that must be exciting for you.
For me?
Yes.
For them, perhaps, but
really?
Not high schools.
Right.
I go to colleges, many colleges, and I feel this is a punishment, from heavens, because I didn't go to college.
Oh.
A decision I made the day I got expelled from high school.
Right.
So, since I did not go to college, I then have spent the rest of my life at college.
Going to colleges. Why were you expelled?
Well, no official charge was leveled. Basically, the headmaster, it was a private girls' school, private Episcopalian girls' school, so right away. And the official charge was that I was usurping the power of the headmaster. And more people were listening to me than to him.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I think that a school would be lucky to have a person like that in the classroom.
I agree.
Uh-huh.
Yes. But he would not.
Do you remember...
No.
Odd. You remember your first day of school when you were a little girl?
I do.
What was that?
My first day of kindergarten, I ended up in the corner with a Band-Aid pasted over my mouth, holding up a sign saying, "I am a chatterbox."
Oh, no.
This was before self-esteem.
Yeah.
This is before they wanted you to have self-esteem.
Wow. You must have been crushed, or was it just part of kindergarten? You didn't know any better?
Well, it was part of, it was my first day of school. Yeah. I wasn't even 5 years old.
Oh, my God.
This has perhaps resulted in my eventual expulsion.
I understand recently, last year, couple of years, maybe you've moved, is that correct?
No, I moved the end of July, which
Oh,
means
recently.
I finished putting the last book away about a week ago.
So you're all moved in? You lived in Times Square, I know.
I live near Times Square.
Yeah.
You know, if you call that living.
Yeah.
And so I moved away from Times Square.
Right, right.
No one lives in Times Square. It just looks like they do because they're lying around in their lawn chairs.
Well, it's much different, isn't it?
It is probably the worst built environment in the history of the world.
Really?
Yes. You've noticed a change?
Yes, there's been market changes.
Market
yes,
change,
yes.
right? I mean, it's not just where did our three-card Monte dealers go. You know, it's you can't get a cab. You can't get a cab because they're not allowed to drive.
Yeah,
down.
that's
It's
right.
just a kind of a big rest area.
Right.
For people who, I don't know where these people are from, because you see them standing there or lounging there, and they're riveted by the signs, by the lights.
Right.
And I think, I know there are places where there's no electricity, but those must also be places where there are no airports. So, how did they get here?
Yes, certainly food for thought.
I'm the Anti-Tourist Bureau.
Public speaking, it's you in conversation with yourself and others. It's on HBO. Are you pleased with the final result?
Well, Martin Scorsese made it, and I think he's really coming along.
Yes, I predict he'll make quite a name for himself one day. Well, Fran, a pleasure to see you. Hope to see you again in another 16 years.
Yes.
All right. We'll be right back with Neo, ladies and gentlemen.